Yeah. Big O, we told you we ain't playing no games, man. It's just surely probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. To the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Friday Pablo in the Big O Show. Oh, on the radio, the top's where we gonna go, man. On the morning show, we go. Talk live and direct. Nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style. Break it a morning, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping you glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the rumors in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call him and let him know. Coach and Probably Pablo, now introducing the man of the hour, Big O, a.k.a. Orlando Gary. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we are ready to rock. We are ready to roll. Coming to you live from the beautiful Toyota of Hollywood dealership like we do every Thursday. Come 1841 North State Road 7. We'll be out here for a few hours having some fun, talking all kinds of things. You know, yesterday I saw where and we were on the air while it was going on, Panthers losing to the Lightning 5-0 in that game. And I started, when I was driving home, Bill, I started to think about something, right? And I started to think about people that are absolutely stealing money for a living. And, you know, and it's really easy to pick on Bobrovsky, right? Because, I mean, that clown has been just useless. Seriously, what's the difference between any of you and Bobrovsky out there? Well, what's the difference? I mean, we all would have allowed a whole bunch of goals, too. Who cares? One of the worst goaltenders in the NHL this year, Bobrovsky. It's that guy. I don't know. Remember the late, great Mad Dog used to say when, you know, somebody lost a big game, Dolphins, whatever, they should stare at their shoelaces and make no eye contact with anybody today. Right? You know, out of the embarrassment. Bobrovsky is a guy that has to be the ultimate example of social distancing. Yeah. I mean, if I'm Bobrovsky, I want to stay away 6,000 feet from everybody. Forget 6 feet. I want to be 6,000 feet away from everybody. And at this moment he is, because he's stuck in a bubble in Canada. So he's way away from all of us down here. But if I'm Bobrovsky, you know, their season will end soon. How does that guy walk around this town? I mean, at this point, you got to stay home and quarantine as much as you can. Stay away from, when you go out, wear a mask, be responsible, you know, those kind of. But where does Bobrovsky go? I mean, seriously. Do you realize that Bobrovsky steals more money than Whiteside did? Okay? I mean, Whiteside would put up stats. They wouldn't lead to wins because he's not that kind of player. You know what I mean? But he still put up some decent stats. Stats that were impressive at times. Where are the impressive stats with this guy? And then I'll do the same, and I'll tell you who's also stealing money. Dale Talon, dude. You realize Dale Talon's worse than Mike Tannenbaum. Yeah. He hasn't been around you didn't keep Tannenbaum around for 10 years. You kept him around for about, I think, 5. Then you finally got smart and got rid of him. 5 or 6, something like that. This guy's 10. And, of course, I'll say something that they have no balls at 560 or 790 because they can't. The few hosts that are left there, right, and there's only really a couple of real sports hosts left there, they can't say this. Fire Dale Talon, bro. Obviously, they can't. I mean, when I was saying fire Gase and Tannenbaum and put Greer in place, they were losing their minds. You can't be requesting somebody get fired. Well, what did they do anyway? They fired him, right? You know, usually when I say, get rid of somebody, it's because you got to get off that bandwagon already. And at this point, if you're the Panthers, seriously, can you think of a general manager and player combination of Dale Talon and Bobrovsky that are stealing more money in the history of local sports? Seriously, it should be. We're at a point where it's a crime now. I mean, it is a joke. And I'm thinking about it. You lost 5-0. And by the way, the head coach was telling us a week ago some of the best practices that they've had. Wow. You lost 5-0. Boy, I don't want to see a bad practice. Wow. How much are you going to lose by if you have a bad practice is what? A 15-0 loss?
I was going to say at least double it, right?
I mean, wow. All right, seriously, and I'm a huge fan of the owners. They need to make changes, bro. They need to make changes. And listen, it'll all come again to light in the Islander series. But I was thinking about it yesterday, and Bobrovsky may be the biggest thief in the history of pro sports down here. Guy's got $70 million that you're paying that guy. I mean, if I'm the owner right now, how pissed are you if you're the owners going, we got to pay that bum 6 more years? You know what I'm saying? Weird, dude. Weird. That's it's bad stuff. I'm just we got thieves among us, and Dale Talon and Bobrovsky are leading the way in thievery, dude. Absolute thievery. Man, seriously, that guy needs to go into a cave and disappear and never see us again. And to think that you got to put up with that guy for 6 more years and he's untradeable at this point, it's crazy. Mauricio Bautista says, I agree with you. They've had one good season of success under Talon. They need to change at the top. Yeah, no, I mean, Dale Talon's been there 10 years, dude. 10 years. You know what Dale Talon's proven to me? That he drafts soft players. His teams are soft because you can keep changing the coaches all you want, and you keep changing players, but you keep a core. So it tells me your core's soft, the people around him are soft, and your coaches aren't good enough. And I think this guy's a Hall of Fame coach, but you handed him a soft team. What's he going to do now? I'm sorry, man. And you can't keep leaning on what he did in Chicago. That was a decade ago. And it's not going to get fixed because you bring the coach in now. Oh, well, they work together. Are we going to keep trying to capture the magic from Chicago? That was 10 years ago. And maybe it wasn't magic by Dale Talon. Maybe it was just luck by Dale Talon. Made a couple of nice picks, and the coach coached his ass off. Maybe that's what it was. I mean, really, but the thievery has got to stop in Sunrise. Yeah, and I told you this a couple of months ago. Because of COVID, I would not be surprised with all the losses that every team is taking, they're stuck with Talon for one more year. And if you're stuck with Talon another year, then that tells me that if you're allowing him to make more decisions for you moving forward, you're not going anywhere. So I already know that the 2021-2022 season, if it happens, is Well, actually, no, it's 2020, 2021, because it's supposed to start, we're just finishing. It's supposed to start,
exactly
right around the corner.
This fall, November.
So I already know that the upcoming season is cooked. It's done. It's over. Why would you believe in anything the Panthers are doing anymore under Dale Talon? Why? There's no reason to believe in anything they're doing. I mean, I've already personally lost all hope already. I think I've been pretty open about that the last couple of months already. I lost it, what was it, in December or January or something? I said I'm off. I'm done. They're not going anywhere. You see their true colors and you know what they are. That's all.
Just to piggyback on that 1 year that we were good. Scored over 100. We had over 100 points.
Yeah.
Won the East. We got bounced in the first round.
Like I've said 100 times, they off of a 12-game streak.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. Yeah, they showed up for a month.
They weren't a good team. They just got lucky and got on a hot streak for 12 games, and that's a lot of points. And you lived off of that, and that's it, dude. You had your regular type of season, and then you added a 12-game winning streak on top of it, and that's what ended up making the difference. That's all, but you were never that team. You know what I mean?
A true 100-point, no.
You weren't that team. That's the problem with that. Anyway, so I was thinking about that yesterday, and I just wanted to, get that off my chest because really we could talk about some thieves. Mike Wallace. We could talk about Hassan Whiteside. There's some thieves we had in town that have taken some contracts, and teams gave them stupid contracts. In Ndamukong Suh, there's several guys that got severely overpaid, right? But I don't think anything's been worse than Bobrovsky. I don't believe it. I think Bobrovsky goes down now as the worst contract in South Florida sports history.
And it's only started.
Right, that's what I mean. So think about it. It's worse than Whiteside's, right? I mean, think about it. There were nights where Whiteside was, freaking awesome. And he put up some incredible stats. Now, he's not a winner per se because he's not going to do all the things the right way all the time. He's lazy. He'll chase stats and all that. But still, his production is better than Bobrovsky. I mean, that's the only way we can look at it. At least that's the only way I can look at it.
Give some props to the team across the state. Tampa looked every bit the preseason number one, but they were playing us, like you said.
Right? No, and dude, they've been this for 10+ years now.
Yeah,
they're one of the marquee teams in this league. And I know Bobrovsky shut them out 2 years ago in the playoffs and all that. And I guess we're living on that too. But overall, they are one of the better franchises in the NHL. And they've proven that over and over and over and over again every year. They are a class in this league, man. Ian from Brooklyn was the first in the house. Josh is in. Sergio Romero says Mr. 999 is dead. COVID wins again. Who's Mr. 999? I don't know who that is. You gotta fill me in on that.
Maybe the over 1,000 deaths, maybe. I'm just guessing.
No, over 1,400.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. We blew away 999.
Yeah.
That benchmark that we talk about being a horrible day. Yeah,
I saw Herman Cain passed away, 74 years old. Okay.
Yep.
Rest in peace, Herman Cain. He caught it at a Trump rally. Okay. So, that's how it goes. Raging Dolphin Maniac is in the house. Man of 1,005 holds. Matthew Walker. Ronald Hubbard says, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Looking forward to another great show from Big O and Bill. Thank you, sir. Damn, I don't watch the NHL, but if Big O says you steal money worse than Hassan Whiteside, then that's bad. Yeah, trust me. Seriously, dude. I mean, I'm not a Hassan Whiteside fan by any stretch, but I have to be fair. I have to be objective. Bobrovsky is a much bigger embarrassment than Hassan Whiteside, because with Hassan, you were gambling on potential. So he showed you something, and you had to give him that contract because you were stuck. Bobrovsky has already proven that he's a stud, and he's been a stud. So now he's supposed to bring his stud skills here. They're paying you because you're a stud, and you have not been. You've been a failure. You've been an embarrassment, dude. So yeah, to me, it's worse because the Heat were projecting. They were trying. I understood. I disagreed with the contract at that time, but I understood it. Okay? I get it, what they were trying to do, because if it was a diamond in the rough and they did hit on it, then sky's the limit.
You got to block the build on.
But yes, exactly. And so I get where you tried and it didn't work out. But this reminds me a lot of Sue in a different way. This was the Dolphins mishandling it and misjudging what Sue is. It wasn't Sue's fault. Sue played his ass off and he played well, but he was never going to be that guy because he's never been that guy. He's not Donald and he's not Warren Sapp. He was never that guy from that position. Okay? So that's where the Dolphins failed. They thought they were getting Warren Sapp or Aaron Donald. That's what you pay that kind of money for the guys that can disrupt to the point that they're also pass rushers at that spot. Those are rare. Those are hard to find. So I get that, but this guy, wow. This guy is, it's gross how poor this guy's playing.
You would expect this production after 3 or 4, 5 years of quality. Right out the blocks.
Yeah, no.
You're getting nothing.
No, he has sucked from beginning to end.
And you got 6 years left of this.
Yeah, and the dude had 4 months off and did nothing.
Well, remember, he's a slow starter, though.
Yeah.
Where restart,
Yeah. Mauricio Bautista says, I agree with you. They haven't had one good season of success under Talon. They need to change at the top. No doubt. Dougie Fresh says, what's up, fellas? Did I miss any talk about pornos? Tilt-A-Whirl, Karens, or AB? Not yet. We'll get to all of those soon. Alex says, my buddy who's a diehard fan thinks this is not Talon's fault. I'll tell your buddy to stop smoking some really bad stuff. He should pick some really good weed instead, because the bad weed is really affecting him. Ray Grulon is in the house. Pat in Asheville saying, what's up, folks? What else do we have here? NorCal is in saying good morning from the Finn Garden. Mark McIntyre, Clee Torres, Sergio Romero, John Rouse. No one really knows. Oh, you were talking about Herman Cain, I see. No one really knows where anyone caught COVID. We can only suspect without definitive knowns. He may have gotten it at the rally. Did anyone else? I don't know, but that's what the report is. That's what they're saying, that they got it at the rally. That's not me. I had an argument about the Panthers, and he says Talon's pick may have been very good. Ekblad, Barkov, Trocheck, Owen, Tippett. What are those guys done? I'm still waiting. What's so great about those guys? I'm sorry. I must have missed where they took over games and have led this team to actually something good. Let's see. Rosendo says, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Big O and Bill. Prayers to all intentions you may have, blessed with good health and good fortune. Thank you, sir. Antonio Matos is in. Jeremy Dorset. Plenty. Gus 1388. Thank you all for checking in as always. You guys are amazing. Always checking in with us, and you're welcome to visit us out here at Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. We are just a couple of blocks south of that ginormous, beautiful guitar there off of the Turnpike. So come on by and say hi. Tonight I am loaded with sports. I got Jazz and Pelicans at 6:30. I got the Philadelphia Union and Sporting Kansas City at 7:30 with the MLS. At 9, it's Clippers and Lakers. So got a bunch of games today to watch. I love it, man. A lot of action tonight. Philadelphia, by the way, is not the favorite team. Sporting Kansas City is by 1.5 goals. And Philadelphia's plus 262. It's kind of weird, by the way. Over and under, I love that. I love this bet. Over and under is 2.5 goals. I'm going over. I think they'll score at least 3 in this game. The Pelicans are favored over the Jazz by 2.5. How about that?
Somebody knows something?
Either that or, I was thinking about that when I saw this morning, and I was wondering if there was any injuries, to the Jazz. Is somebody missing from the Jazz? Because it was kind of weird that the Pelicans would be the ones favored in this matchup.
The only thing I could think is the Jazz are locked in their spot, and they're expecting Zion to pick up where he what he was doing, when he came back. 23 and, the numbers. You remember, it was incredible.
Yeah.
In 19 minutes, he was getting 23 points.
But positions are being settled here. I mean, you can lose.
They got to play their way in.
Yeah.
Pelicans are on the outside.
No, I know they got to. What I'm saying is the Jazz, I got to look at the standings, but they could lose a spot in the standings. You just can't take this like coasting these next couple games. You got to win them because you could lose a playoff position. But I was looking and I'm not sure if they're missing. I haven't heard if there's any serious injuries or anything with the Jazz that they would not be favored. It's kind of weird that and it's not like there's any road games, right? I mean, there are no home games here. Everybody's on the same deal. So Pelicans are favored by 2.5. They're minus 140. The over and under is 224, and the Jazz are minus 120. Again, Pelicans minus 2.5.
Jazz sit at 4, a game and a half behind Denver, and a game in front of Oakland.
Right, so they got to play.
Oklahoma, I'm sorry, Oklahoma.
So they got to play.
So because they could go down.
Right, they got to play, and Pelicans got to play. So I kind of like the Jazz in this one. I like to take the points here. And
on paper, you would think, on paper.
Take the Jazz in this one, man. And then later on tonight, the Lakers are favored by 4.5 over the Clippers. And I know they're going to be without Lou Williams, so that's going to be a key guy off their bench because he produces a lot of points. But the Lakers have lost their share of the guys too over the last couple months. So I don't know. To me, I might take the points here on this one and take the clip joint. Just because I think they can keep it closer than 4.5 or win the game, actually. So I take both dogs tonight and take the over 2.5 in the Philadelphia Union Sporting Kansas City game. That would be my picks there for tonight's action.
That's your trifecta for the night?
That would be my trifecta. That would be exactly what I would be going for right there. If that's just me. I'm just going to, I haven't done any picks lately. I was thinking about this. We ended really hot. We were in fact, I got a tweet the other day from a guy who was like, dude, thank you so much for the XFL picks.
Oh, you ripped.
What
were you hitting at 80, 90%?
Not 90, but it was somewhere in the 70, 80 percentile. Yes, I was. I mean, I was smoking with the XFL picks. So the other day I was laughing because the guy sent me a tweet. He goes, hey, by the way, forgot to tell you, thank you for the XFL picks. I made a lot of money thanks to you. I was like, all right, man, treat me to lunch one day. So, yeah. So
it's hard to make picks when you don't have any games, man.
Yeah, no. No, yeah. And now it's like.
You could make a pick on marble races.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. But here I would, this is what I would do tonight. I would go over in the Philadelphia Union Sporting Kansas City game. I'm going Jazz plus 2.5, and I'm going Clippers plus 4.5. That's where I'm going with my bets tonight. All right? There you go. It's a beautiful thing. Maybe kick back, get a little Heineken Zero, and drink a little Heineken Zero while I'm watching tonight. Stay away from the alcohol. I got a show tomorrow, so maybe I'll do a little bit of that and chill out. Would be nice. Big O, the Panthers have been mediocre since 2001. Yes. Well, I mean, I'm more worried about just under Dale Talon. They have been absolutely terrible, is what they've been. The other thing that I saw, Joe Kelly got suspended for 8 games. I'm not sure how many of you saw what happened a couple of nights ago. You probably did, where he was throwing at the Astros, and he was kind of making fun of them at the same time. All of that. So he ends up getting an 8-game suspension. And I told you this yesterday. I have no problem Joe Kelly going after the Astros. Rib, hip, leg, ankle, whatever, dude. You can't go for the head. No. I know they're cheaters. You want to make fun of them. You're pissed at them. We all are. They deserve criticism. They deserve an asterisk. They deserve to never be taken seriously for the rest of their lives. That whenever they run into somebody, oh yeah, you're with that team that cheated and you won the title. Yeah, that they need to live with that forever. Trust me. That's going to be really good punishment for the Astros. Okay? Some people may, you got to hit them. Dude, you get beamed in the rib, it goes away after a while. You get a little strawberry, you get it rubbed on, it's gone. That's it. The stigma of cheating lasts forever. Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, they got to walk around with it forever. Rafael Palmeiro with his little finger, he disappeared. Right? He waved it at Congress and all that, and he got his little Viagra bat and all that, and they all disappeared. Why? Because he has to deal with the specter of cheating. So he has to carry that with him for the rest of his life. He's done. He's never going to get a break from that. Neither is Mark McGwire. Neither is Barry Bonds. None of them are going to get a break forever. The Astros will be the same thing. I thought baseball did something really responsible yesterday. I know 8 games in 60 is brutal, but we're in the middle of a pandemic. Do you think you want people fighting? And you're not even in a bubble. So you easily could spread it to each other in a fight. So you don't want any fighting. You don't want anybody clearing off the bench. And kudos to the players because they got off the bench. And, the fighting didn't happen because I think a lot of them were thinking this COVID crap, somebody could have COVID. And it's not about me getting punched or me punching them. It's about them having COVID and then spreading it to me. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it's all about. And so I think there was some, trepidations at the moment, and they were thinking about COVID. But eventually, everything, nothing happened. And I thought baseball, by suspending him for 8 games, sent a really strong message now. And you cannot throw at somebody's head. Okay? They cheated and all of that, but nobody deserves to be in a coma. Nobody deserves to get Alzheimer's. Nobody deserves to get dementia. Okay, because it could happen from that hit in base, from a baseball hit to your head. You could end up developing that down the line. So that's not what we want. That's not the right thing to do. So that's why yesterday when they suspended him for 8 games, that was the right message to send to everybody. Okay? We all understand that the Astros are cheaters, and they deserve criticism, and we can do it, but we're not going to allow somebody to go outlaw and just bean somebody. And the game will get out of control, and somebody's going to get seriously hurt. And what are we talking about? For what? For cheating? Come on, man. Trust me, okay? This was the good thing. This was a great thing that happened yesterday, okay? And the Astros will be punished every day of their lives for the rest of their lives. They have to carry this. Look at all the other ones that have cheated over the years. I don't care if it's, what's the woman from the Boston Marathon? Like that's her name.
Oh, the one that showed up a mile out.
Yeah. I forgot her name now, but she kind of has to live with it for the rest of her life. That's what she's infamously known for. You know what I'm saying? So you look at the history of cheaters over the years, and when they get busted and they get exposed, they end up having to carry that with them their entire lives. I know
Rosie Ruiz.
That's it, Rosie Ruiz. You know what I mean? So trust me. Okay, you don't need to beam them over the head. We're not Neanderthals, dude. Okay, we're human beings, and we are going to make mistakes, right? And yes, there's times to apologize, there's times to forgive, and all of that. But the Astros, they're getting what's coming to them. Trust me. Okay, and once fans are allowed. Next year, they'll boo them. They'll remember. And all those players that were involved, even if they go to bat somewhere else for another team, they're going to hear hecklers. Always. That's what it's going to be. And then when they retire, they're at a bar and they're going to meet oh yeah, you're the guy that was cheating with the Astros. And he's going to have to and Correa's going to have to swallow that and deal with it. Altuve is going to have to swallow it and deal with it.
So they're going to be on social media in the future, bar fights.
Yeah. I mean, wait a minute. Bonds has that.
Right. Yes.
It's the same thing, dude. It's the same exact thing. 20 years later, Bonds is still living with it. And guess what? 20 years from now, he'll still be living with it. You know what I mean? OJ did not get the jail sentence that he deserves, but he's still ostracized from the general public, you know?
Except for some girls that want to dance with him.
Right, exactly. And he does his little Twitter things and all that, but nobody's welcoming him on NBC. They're not saying, hey, come back and analyze this football game with us, which he was terrible at it anyway. But whatever, it just, all those things just never really worked out anymore for him. Why? Because you've been labeled. You are what you are. Pete Rose has lived with it forever. And he's never been forgiven for it. And he didn't cheat on baseball. He just betted on baseball. They will have to deal with it forever. That's just the way it goes. That's the punishment, ladies and gentlemen.
The Astros have kind of gotten off easy because there are no fans. There's nothing to do there.
Right now, yes.
You know something I thought about? Oh, how about this?
Except social media. I'm sure they can't go to their social media accounts.
Ready for this?
Yeah.
If you're the home team, they're coming to your place, you go get the sound during the game of them smacking the garbage cans and stuff like that and incorporate it into the sound you're piping over the loudspeakers and use some of those sounds that they created.
Yeah.
And it's, hey, this was sound you did. We just are piping it in the game.
Right.
Just to remind them because the fans can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just
but I don't know. I don't know if the organizations will
stoop to that level.
Yeah, they probably won't.
Because, you're actually bringing down the major league and black eye.
Right.
But it would be funny, right? If somebody did just put a couple garbage can smacks.
You know what you could do? You could do is you can go subliminal, right? And you can play Stupid Girl from Garbage. You can play, I'm trying to think of something with trash. Something along those lines, like bands that are associated with that or songs that are associated with trash or garbage or,
You're a liar.
Bang on the Drum All Day from Todd Rundgren, something, you know what I mean? You can maybe do it that way.
Have somebody saying, I got to hit the can.
Yeah. It just has to be a backhanded way of doing it. Maybe you could get away with that. Kenneth Cleveland, baby. He's the first to chime in on a super chat. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it. Thank you for always supporting the show, Kenneth Cleveland. We appreciate you. Says Big O, Kenneth Cleveland in the house, live from the Boom Boom Room. Listen, don't give us too many details about the Boom Boom Room, right? Because we know what goes on in the Boom Boom Room, right? Boom, boom, boom. Let's go back to my room. All right. We can do it all night. You can make me feel right. Oh. Remember that one? All right. Anyway, let's take a break. We are coming to you live from Toyota of Hollywood, where we can talk heavy metal or freestyle with the best of them. Back with more.
This is the Big O Show.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
It's Mark at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
We're back. Coming to you live from Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. Come on by and say hi. We'll be out here till about 2 o'clock. Lots of things to talk about here on the program. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com. 1105, that's 786-322-1105. Lakeisha is in the house. Nice to see you, Lakeisha. Nelson, what is that last name? Gulbenzu. Okay, it's almost as tricky as Alzagari. Belichick and Brady never get mentioned in that way, and they cheated multiple times. Dude, you call deflating footballs cheating? I don't. I thought Deflategate was the biggest joke in the world. And the Spygate thing, yeah, you that one you can call, but I still think that they've won their championships because, put it this way, the tuck rule was more of a help than those things. That's the way I look at it, So to me, the Deflategate thing was the silliest investigation, silliest story ever. Brady was going to beat the Colts with the Nerf ball. So Aaron Rodgers used to overinflate his balls. Brady deflates them a little bit. Whatever, bro. I mean, that's how quarterbacks have been for years. The kickers were like that, too, until they put the K-ball on. They used to beat up their balls for years. Their kicking balls were completely different than everybody else's. They beat up the ball. I remember because I used to cover the NFL, and back when I was covering it, kickers were able to beat up and have the ball the way they wanted it. And then they disallowed that. And they got the K ball in where it's a brand new with a K, boom, and that's it. Everybody kicks the same ball. So there wasn't an advantage. So it's been, those kind of things to me are not that big a deal. Craig Gordon says, great point, Big O. Astros stink will rub off. Will never rub off. Yep, exactly. No fans in games is the best thing that happened to the Astros this year. The booing would have been in epic proportions. Yeah, and the signs and all kinds of stuff. DJ Lloyd, 61, telling me about Rosie. Thank you. Woodson is in. Tremolio is in. In baseball, if I can plunk the Astro in the back, then we can punch Brady and Belichick in the face. All right. Ruiz died a year ago. Wow. I didn't know that. What's your thoughts and Bill's thoughts on copyright infringement with songs? What if someone plays only a few seconds to appreciate the song and not for politics, profits, or promotion? Or is it black and white? I know. I think on YouTube it's black and white. Like if you play a little bit of a song, you're done. I don't think it's a big deal. If somebody plays it in a show as a bit and a couple seconds of it, but in a political thing, that's where it gets tricky. You know what I mean? Because then you wonder if the person is on board with that message, and then you put the artist in a terrible position, and that's what these artists don't want. They don't want to be put in either position because they don't want to have to answer to that. So that's why if they believe in you and they vote for you and all that stuff, then if you ask them, they'll grant you permission. But they don't want you to play it without their permission. So I understand those kind of copyright infringements where they put you in a difficult position politically or religiously or something like that. But as for a radio show like a Rejoiner, I don't think that hurts anything. I don't think it's not a big. I think it's better for the artist because they get more exposure. And it happens to me all the time because I play a wide variety of music, or I like a wide variety of music. I'll tell you about songs you've never heard of or bands you've never heard of. And it's already happened on this show here in the last year that I've done it, and then people come back and say, hey, thank you for turning me on to whatever. I've never heard of this band. I never knew about this or whatever, that kind of stuff. People did it when I turned them on to Greta. There are a lot of people that had no idea who Greta was or Texas Hippie Coalition, things like that. And so then they find out, you know what I mean? Nuclear Valdez. We were talking about Nuclear Valdez. A couple people reached back to me and go, hey, thanks, man. I had never heard Share a Little Shelter and Nuclear Valdez, and they didn't know that he was from here. I think it was Mike No-Go Zones that was going back and forth with me, which, by the way, Mike No-Go Zones will join us tomorrow at 1:30. He went to Miami Gardens, his newest journey, and his latest YouTube video is out going to Miami Gardens. So if you want to check that out, go to Mike No-Go Zones, one of our friends and sponsors of the program here, and support him too. Subscribe to the channel because my man goes to Syria. I mean, he'll go to places that most people would never even think of going. And he shows, you know what? It's not so bad here in Maryland, here in Baltimore. I'll tell you why. Boom. And you'll go all through Baltimore, and you're like, oh, wow, this is cool. There's one of Opalaka, and you'll learn things about Opalaka that's in your backyard that you didn't know. So check out Mike No-Go Zones. He does an excellent, excellent job with his show. Jack Gonzalez is in. It says, Happy TBT, Big O. I sent you a TBT pick from 2013. Oh, a throwback Thursday. I got you. All right, I'll check out the pick. Thank you, my brother. Did you check? Oh, I know I have not checked out Guapa. I have not checked it out. I got to check it out, dude. My bad, but I will. I will eventually get to it. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in. Let's see what we got here. Big O, rain bands started to come in. Quarterfinal soccer tonight. Tip of the day. Increase social distance standard every day by 2 inches. I'm up to 11 feet now. You and Bill be safe on the road. Seize the day. James in the DR. James was telling me, because we were going back and forth yesterday on the email, and he was telling me that in the DR they've got a bunch of cases, and they're on the rise, and it's like scary over there right now, also like it is here. I mean, hell, we had 200 and what cases yesterday in the state of Florida? Like, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. It wasn't like we're not over 1,000. Now we're over 1,400, bro. You know, Brazil's at 1,500 yesterday. So we're right there. It's us and Brazil leading the way. We are such an embarrassment to the world. It's a shame. So, yeah, I can't go see Guns N' Roses. I don't even know how that concert happens in November at Hard Rock. You know, and here's the other thing that I can't go to the DR for that. One, my heart, and the whole thing is spreading. Plus, not only what's going on in the DR, that they also have an outbreak, but think about this. Guns N' Roses goes to the Hard Rock there. People are coming from all over the world to go to that concert. So now you're going to have all kinds. That's going to be bad for the island. They actually shouldn't have that concert there. I mean, seriously. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But
be doing their best impersonation of like Vegas.
Yeah.
Everybody coming.
Yeah. No, yeah. It'll look like that Chainsmokers concert at the Hamptons, where people were all over each other, no masks, and you know that's where they start. That's where they do the contract tracing, and that's how they figure where the hell you got it, because then they figure out other people that are getting it. You know, the stuff that we don't do in Florida because, you know, our governor doesn't think it's
well, that stuff would make sense. We can have none of that here.
Yeah. But go ahead, DeSantis. You're doing a great job, boy. Guaranteed you won't get reelected. That's for sure. Doesn't matter. A tree can run against you. They're going to beat you. Okay. James says, read on Twitter that you can buy negative COVID tests so people can get cleared to work. Yeah, are you surprised? Come on, man. Are you surprised? That's expected that people would do something like that. We got people playing COVID parties. I mean, give me a break. Have you guys seen Michael Porter, the basketball player? Look, this is all you need to know. This is the kind of stuff that floats around. This is why some people are they're toasted, bro. They're absolutely toasted. And so Michael Porter Jr., listen, a lot of people, they come up with these conspiracy theories, and most of them are really crazy. Look, the president's favorite doctor is a woman that believes in alien DNA and, and all kinds of other crazy things. So Michael Porter shared his crazy thoughts too on COVID-19. All right, you got to hear this. All right, go ahead, play it.
What you want me to talk about, fam? Just let me know and I'll talk about it. Niggas know I'm not scared, so just let me know and I'll talk about it. No, that's facts. I think that the coronavirus is being used, obviously, for a bigger agenda. And it's being used for population control in just terms of being able to control the masses of people. I mean, because of this virus, the whole world is being controlled. I mean, you're required to wear masks. And who knows what will happen when this vaccine comes out. you might have to have the vaccine in order to travel. Like, that'd be crazy. I've never been vaccinated in my life. I've never had any shots or anything like that. So it could get crazy, but it's definitely and watch what's going on. Don't get too emotionally involved. But yeah, I mean, it is a serious thing. It's a real thing, but yes, it's being overblown.
This is a 22-year-old punk that doesn't know anything about life and is still learning. I mean, to think that you're trying to, what part of the population are you trying to control? It's killing a lot of old people. I'm just wondering, is that where? Oh, let's rid ourselves of old people. We'll come up with a virus that will attack more old people than anybody else. You know, it just, these are, and this is the kind of crap that goes on in this world. You know what I mean? And whether it's Kyrie with a flat earth or the president saying, oh, you can't take any disinfectant to kind of, no, moron, no, you can't. Remember that one a couple months ago? What do you mean? You can't drink disinfectant? And meanwhile, there's a couple in...
You could just get it up in there and it'll kind of work and, you know, do something for you.
Yeah, and a couple in Europe killed themselves because they heard the president say, oh, you can drink disinfectant. And then they drank disinfectant. Because remember, you got people that actually will believe what the orange man says. So if you're in a position of power, governor, president, whatever, actor, you know, basketball player, you're going to have influence over somebody. And that's why you have to be very careful at what you say. Because you know there's going to be a bunch of other people that are just as dumb as this Porter kid is, and they believe it. And they think, yeah, no, they're trying to control our population. Who's they? Them. Who's them? You know them. Those people. Who are those people? And there you go. Then you get your Illuminati stuff. Ugh, I got to tell you. When you see stuff like that, that's where you go, we're screwed, bro. Rosendo goes, the women in the DR will give you a heart attack, Big O. Well, my brother, I'm not going for the women. I have a woman at home. I'm good with that part. I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to, if I would go, my wife's not going to go because she's not interested in roses. But I'm probably going to go with this idiot or somebody else. But it won't be now because there's no way we're going at all this year. I can't, that's for sure. And he's not going to do it either. I know Grieper won't do it either. So I'm sure most of the guys that I would make this trip with, there's no shot. But if I go, it's to go to, you know, check out the concert. That's about it. That's not anything else. Do a little well, I'm in the Hard Rock, so maybe I'll do a little gambling too, right?
Probably just get in, get out.
Yeah, a little gambling.
Turn around.
Little gambling, good dinner, concert, in and out, bro. Done. Maybe go check out the beach and then leave. All right, look at it. All right, great. Let's go. We're out. Yeah, so that's probably what it'll be. It'll be, you know, because I've done that. I've gone to Red Rocks and we're there for 2 days. Flew in, flew right back out after the concert. I went to Las Vegas and LA for overnighters. Just went to a concert in Vegas, then flew out to Los Angeles the following morning, saw the concert, next morning flew back to Miami. We didn't stay at all. I did that for San Antonio recently. Coliseum, which by the way is now being used as a COVID facility. But at the Freeman Coliseum 2 years ago, I went up to go see Judas Priest, Saxon, and Black Star Riders. And we flew in, saw the concert, flew out the next morning. So it would be the same thing. I've done it many times where it's just hit and run, man. So no time for getting in trouble, no time for something I don't need, and no time for a heart attack. So we're moving on. Doctors are dying to save humanity and people don't give a hell about it. You're right about that, Herman. You're right. Yep. Mike No-Go Zone says, I'm down for Guns N' Roses in the DR. Well, your crazy ass is on your own You could go in November. I am not going there in November because I don't think we'll have a hold of the pandemic to the point that in November I'm going to feel good. No, that there is no pandemic, that there's just rare cases. Then I can do that. Because I'll still go and not touch anything and keep my distance from people for the hell of it. But at least I'll feel a little safer. Now, there's no way that I would feel safe in that environment. It's too hard. All right, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. Is a 24-hour talk show. You see where Damian Williams is opting out, the former Miami Dolphin and current Kansas City Chief and world champion, by the way, because obviously they want it. He announced on Wednesday that he has decided to opt out of playing this year. He's going to join Laurent Duvernay-Tardif as the chief players who have opted out this season. He says, they say, as an organization, we certainly understand and respect Damian's choice, knowing it was made in the best interest of his family. He means a lot to our football team as a player and a person, and we're going to miss having him around this season. So last year he had 711 yards from scrimmage and 7 touchdowns. Williams was headed into the final year of his contract, set to make $1.85 million. His contract will toll to the 2021 season, and he'll receive $150,000 advance in his salary. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the kid from LSU, got drafted in the first round. They will end up relying on him a lot. And it'll be interesting to see how they handle the Damian Williams situation, because if Helaire kicks ass there's a season, I still question whether they can actually have a season in any football. I don't think it's going to happen at all in college. But in the NFL, they're going to try as much as they can. But I hope everybody's like Howie Mandel, okay? And they're germaphobes and they stay away from everybody and they're able to have, nothing would make me happier than a full NFL season, especially watching. We need to see our Dolphins develop, man, okay? It's not just the Marlins who lost out on a lot of development this year for their minors and the majors, but the Dolphins need this second year to really happen to develop the team, man. This would be a monster setback for them in their rebuild. You know what I'm saying? They can reload with more talent next year and all of that, but it's not the same when they don't get playing time. So it's really important to get the playing time here. I don't know if they will, but going back to this, if Edwards-Helaire does kick ass, and then Williams will come back on a cheap deal for next year, it'll be interesting to see in 2022, do they keep him aboard or do they part ways with him at that point? And they say, well, Hilaire's been with us 2 years now and he's kicking ass and we can't give you a new contract because you're not our number one guy. Helaire is, and he's younger. That'll be interesting. He'll come back next year and it'll look all rosy. Now, that doesn't mean he'll start, and he might be the backup to Helaire. Now, if Helaire struggles this year, then they're going to welcome Damian Williams back with open arms next year, use him, and if Helaire continues to be a disappointment, then he gets his extension. But if Helaire shines, expect Damian Williams to play one more season with the Chiefs, and then hasta la vista, baby. Because $1.8 million is actually, it's $1.65 because the $150,000 they gave him now, they will take it off his salary next year. So it'll be $1.65 instead of the $1.8. That's probably what it is. Life's a Gamble chimes in with a super chat. Thank you. Life is a Gamble. Let me see what you... And And he says, do these players get to opt back in at any time? I think they have. I think they can opt in, but once the season starts, I don't know how it affects their opt-in at that point because they may have made already a salary cap decision. So I'm not sure how that works out. Now, if these teams go under the cap because these guys opt out and they don't replace that money, I think they're going to be able to add those guys down the line. I think they can. It's not like a bubble that you're either in or you're out, and once you go out, you're done. That's not the case here. I think you can come back, but it all depends also on the salary cap. Because let's just say you're up against the cap, right? And a guy drops out. And let's say 3 guys drop out. Now you're $7 million under the cap. Okay? One of the guys that drops out is a $3 million player. So now you're 7 under, right? But you go and sign Jadeveon Clowney for $5 million. And you signed a guard that was available for $1 million. So now you've used 6 of 7. Now the guy that you were paying 3 decides in week 4, things are going well, things are safe. You know what? I can go back in there. I can actually do this. Okay, we don't have the cap space for you. So I'm going to go. I'm going to tell you what I think. I don't know for sure the rule, but I have not heard that you can come back in. So I would imagine that it all comes down to your cap. As long as you have the cap space to bring the player back, then you're fine. Remember, this is not like the NBA or whatever that they let you go over the cap because it's your own player and all you have to do is pay a luxury tax or something like that in baseball. No, that's not the case. Okay? So in basketball, you can go over. In baseball, you can go over and pay a luxury tax. No. That's not the case in football. It's a hard cap, and you got to stay under that hard cap number. So that's what I would tell you. All depends on what they've done after they've lost certain players. Like, I know the Patriots are right up against the cap. Now they've lost several players. Now they're several million under the cap. Now they've got the money to go out and go get Jadeveon Clowney if they want. I wonder if all these opt-out players will opt out next year if there's no cure. I guess it all depends on their pockets at the time. Yeah. Must be nice. Yeah, but we talked. John, I told you guys about this a couple months ago, right? They're not like you and I that we've got to work and take risks and all that because we have to. We have no choice. It's either we have a job or we don't have a job, right? That's how us normal people are in this world right now. Whatever job you have and you can hold on to, man, embrace it, right? And if you have to go work like we do, then do it in the safest form possible. First thing this guy says to me, the first thing when I get here goes, hey, I wiped everything down. We're all set to go. First thing, he doesn't say good morning or hey, I wiped everything down. Chair, everything's wiped down.
That's to set your conscience at we're safe.
Right. I mean, normally our equipment, nobody touches.
We're as bubbled as we could be.
Right. Yeah, right. Exactly. But these chairs are not ours. So he wipes these down. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things. If you're going to go out, there we go. Yeah, there you go. If you're going to go out, just be responsible, dude.
Compliments of our friends at VSS, by the way.
That's right.
These bleach wipes.
That's right. They got them there. So just be smart, man. That's all. And maybe next year, if we don't have we're not going to have a cure. If we have a vaccine, then life gets back to normal, hopefully, if the vaccine is working. And if it isn't, John, those that have money will take the step back. Those that have to sacrifice will move forward. And you got to do what you got to do, bro.
It'll be like the way, remember, Fisher Island stepped up and bought all that testing.
Yes.
And the people that have money will have.
Right.
As usual.
Right, as always. That's just the way it is. Let's see, what else do we have here? I expect a ton of these players to come back for a couple of weeks. They got to make sure when they see that it's safe for a while. Well, wait a minute. Some guys will come back. The ones that have sick children and sick family members, they're not coming back. They're not coming back. Until the pandemic is done, they're not coming back. Okay, so those guys for sure will be next year guys. You know, when you hear somebody, I'm out because my son has cancer, you know, you got to respect that, okay? And, you know, I respect all these people if they drop out. I told you, if I had money in the bank, then I wouldn't work either, man. I'd stay home. Be as safe as possible at home. But I wasn't born a silver spooner, man. I don't have. Daddy didn't leave me an inheritance. I'm not a former player that made millions of dollars. I didn't win the lottery. I'm a working stiff like everybody else. So, you know, some of us have that luxury and some of us won't, unfortunately. Alexis says, Big O, I heard on last night's Mets game that a player was opting back in. Want to say a Braves player. Yes, it is Marcakis. There you go. I didn't even have to look it up. Nick Marcakis is opting back in. But there's no bubble in baseball. You understand? So that's why I think in football you'll be able to come back. So Marcakis kind of, I think if I can find it. He was kind of what's that called? He kind of was feeling like, you know, he belonged there with his teammates and things like that. So that's why he opted to come back, and that's why he's back in the mix. I'll see if I can find you that quote of Marcakis talking about making to baseball. 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the text line, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the text line, you can always reach out to me on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. The other way you can reach out to us is on email, orlando@bigoradioshow.com. And let me tell you, Nate Solder is one of those guys. Solder's opting out of the 2020 season, saying it's too risky. His 5-year-old son is still battling cancer. Hudson Solder was diagnosed with cancerous tumors in his kidneys when he was 3 months old. He's been undergoing treatment ever since. Just last fall, Hudson had a surgical procedure to remove a tumor and also underwent a 3rd round of chemotherapy. That's, wow. I can't believe it. I mean, no child should ever go through that, man. It's heartbreaking. So Solder is also out, and I mean, how do you not respect that, man? And that guy's going to make money. Here it is, Nick Markakis. Here you go. Sometimes in life you make rash decisions. Nick Markakis decided that he has got to come back. He says, sometimes in life you make rash decisions without thinking it through. At the time, I thought it was the right decision. So Nick chose to sit out before the Braves started their summer camp this month. So saying in a conversation with Freddie Freeman cemented his feelings on the matter. At the time, Freddie was sick as hell with COVID-19, and Nick wanted no part of that battle. But Markakis said Wednesday he's back for good, and while he admitted he's still not sure if it's the right decision, he felt like he had to do it for his teammates. Sitting at home watching these guys compete the last couple of days and all the risks that they're going out there, you know, I just, in a way, deep down, that pit in my stomach, I felt like I needed to be out there. So there you go. So if you opt out because of a family issue or you don't want to risk COVID, I completely understand that. I totally understand that. And we have to respect that. And if people have a son like or a daughter that's battling some kind of a disease, you got to understand that, because you don't want to bring COVID home and affect your kid. I mean, life is tough enough for that child. You're going to give him COVID too? Come on, man. You know, you got an older person in your family, your mom, your dad, your grandmother, your grandfather living with you. You don't want to bring COVID home to them. Again, who the hell wants the burden of getting one of your family members or friends sick and they end up, you know, dying? And let me, I was reading this, okay? I want you to check this out. There are 2 new studies, because we're still learning a lot from this thing. 2 new studies from Germany paint a sobering picture of the toll that COVID-19 takes on the heart, raising the specter of long-term damage after people recover, even if their illness was not severe enough to require hospitalization. One study examined the cardiac MRIs of 100 people who had recovered from COVID-19, compared them to heart images from 100 people who were similar but not infected with the virus. The average age was 49, and 2/3 of the patients had recovered at home. More than 2 months later, infected patients were more likely to have troubling cardiac signs than people in the controlled group. 78 patients showed structural change to their heart. 76 had evidence of a biomarker signaling cardiac injury, typically found after a heart attack, and 60 had signs of inflammation. These were relatively young, healthy patients who fell ill in the spring, okay, who led the MRI study. Pointed out in the interview, many of them had just returned from ski vacations. None of them thought they had anything wrong with their hearts. The fact that 78% recovered patients had evidence of ongoing heart involvement means that the heart is involved in a majority of patients, even if COVID-19 illness does not scream out with the classic heart symptoms such as angial chest pain. She is a cardiologist at the University of Frankfurt. She says, in my view, the relatively clear onset of COVID-19 illness provides an opportunity to take proactive action to look for heart involvement early on. The other study, which analyzed autopsy results from 39 people who died early in the pandemic and whose average age was 85, found high levels of the virus of 24 of the patients. We see signs of heavily infected. These are 2 studies that both suggest that being infected with COVID-19 carries a high likelihood of having some involvement in the heart. It's not answering questions to prompt important questions about what the cardiac aftermath is. A cardiologist and assistant professor of medicine, Matthew Tommy, says the question now is how long these changes persist. Are they going to become chronic effects upon the heart, or these, we hope, temporary effects of cardiac function that will gradually improve over time? So every day, the pros are learning about this thing. Every single day. So when we think we have a hold of this, we don't. Okay? And at first, they thought it stayed in all surfaces, and it doesn't. It stays on some surfaces for a while. It disappears on others. They didn't know. At first, they didn't think it was airborne. Now they know it's airborne. Long-term problems that comes from this, that's another thing that comes with it. So, you know, I saw that article, and I thought it was something that I should mention to you all out there, because if you're not taking it serious, I don't know what you're waiting for. I don't know what it's going to take for you to actually take this thing serious. All right, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Losing sound. Here. I was born with a throwaway key used to open spam. Okay. That's that's something that it comes in handy. That key can open up a lot of things for you. Yeah. Hey, did I go through the top of the hour? Is that what it was?
Yes. We are 15 minutes on the other side.
All right. Let me take a break.
But you only did 36 minutes.
All right. So
only 36.
All right. So let's take a break. We'll come break here. We'll come back in 2 minutes. Don't forget that Moodius Dental is a proud sponsor. Call Eric Moodius right now. Tell him that I sent you, okay? 305-821-0231. State-of-the-art, family-owned. That place is amazing. They are awesome people. The place is spotless, which is what you need in today's world, right? And when I tell you state-of-the-art, I'm talking about state-of-the-art, okay? And that's why I want you to go there, whether you want to fill a cavity, clean your teeth, root canal, Invisalign, implants. It doesn't matter what you need, man. Go to Moodius Dental and call them 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moodius Dental, and go to the website, moodiusdental.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
We ready, we rocking. Of Hollywood, come on out, see the boys. Eddie's out there. There's Herbie. All the great people are out here, man. Steve Ostrov is cracking the whip. Come on out here to 1841 North State Road 7, baby. Tell them that I sent you. So if you come on out here to buy or lease a vehicle, whoever you see out here, okay? Whether it's Lori Rodriguez, the lovely and talented one, she's out here ready to help you out. Gary Thompson, I've known Gary Thompson for many years, actually. Gary is out here working hard, as always. Azric Smith, Joel Rubio, just some great people out here at Toyota of Hollywood. I promise you that they will take care of you. Just make sure you tell them that I sent you, and that will all work out for you, as it always does. And for those listeners, we've had a couple in the last month that have come in and have mentioned us. Thank you, because that goes a long way, because they go, okay, well, no, I heard it with Big O, and you know, it goes a long way to our relationship and everything, you know, surviving. So it's very, very important, you know what I mean? Because it happens a lot. You guys don't mean to do it. You go somewhere, go to VSS West Pines, you go to Canes where you walk in, you buy something, and you do what you normally do, but you don't tell them, hey, by the way, hey, I heard Big O talking about you guys, and that's why I'm here or whatever, and that. So that goes a long way, trust me, when you're able to do that. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. Hello, you remember last year of the mysterious death of tourist in Dominican Republic? That's why I will never go there. Yeah, but that was a run of some people that got poisoned, and then that's it. It's, it ended. So I don't know. I'm not. At that moment, I wouldn't have gone to the DR. Okay, I wasn't going to take a chance. Now I can't go because of damn COVID. But once COVID's over, I would go to the DR. Big O, is it weird? People rather believe a game host than a scientist. Yeah. No, it's weird. Yeah. We have an infectious disease control expert that's been working with our government for 50 years now and multiple presidents. And because this clown is in charge, right, and he tries to discredit him, he's got the people that are just like zombies following him and then trying to discredit a man that has way more credibility than the president ever will. Meanwhile, the president's the guy says, hey, can't we take a disinfectant? So it's a weird world, man. This guy's worked with all kinds of presidents from both sides of the fence. He's out for us, not for the Democrats or the Republicans. He's not choosing us. He's choosing human beings, which is what we're all supposed to do. Choose human beings first. That's what we're supposed to protect. Anyway, let me get back to sports. NFL's got the top 100 list, okay? Did you guys see this? And it's voted by the players. And I got to say something. I think the players clearly prove that they're not smart enough to actually, or objective enough to actually pick the right list. They had Lamar Jackson number one. Lamar Jackson isn't the number one player in the NFL by any way, shape, or form. Look, I get it. He had a great year last year. He was phenomenal. I don't think that's a long-term type of play in the NFL because eventually they're going to break him in half, but whatever. But the fact that you've got him one, Russell Wilson's two, Aaron Donald three, and Pat Mahomes is four. When I saw that, I knew the list was garbage. I mean, how can Pat Mahomes not be number one? Please explain that to me. How is he not the best player in the NFL? Jealousy? Is it other players that didn't vote for him as number one? And Mahomes, by the way, tweeted out a pencil and a notepad, like taking notes. And whether he's bothered by it or not, I mean, that's neither here nor there. I don't really care about that. And I hope he goes out and throws for 100 touchdowns if they actually have a season. But Lamar Jackson is not number one. He's not ahead of Russell Wilson and Pat Mahomes. Those guys are miles ahead of him as a quarterback. I get it. Lamar had some nice stats last year. Sometimes the stats work out for you because of the situation that you're in and the scheme and everything. But when I see him do it over and over again, then I'll believe that something is really special. I think it's more of a gimmick, and I think eventually he'll be forced to try to beat you with his arm, and he won't be able to. But even if he... The real truth is that this guy is not better than Pat Mahomes. And he's not better than Russell Wilson. Those two guys are light years ahead of Lamar as quarterbacks. They're much better passers. And they've proven more, and both of them have a title. And both of them, it's not like they're products of the system. They are. Once they stopped that run, and then he had to become a quarterback, that's it. He was a deer in headlights at that point. Pat Mahomes and Russell, those guys get it all done. They run when they have to, and they beat you with their arms on a consistent basis. To me, this list is pure garbage when you get it that wrong. Now, if you're playing Joe Fan and you want to play, the video game crap and you just want to play with stats, but you're actually not looking at what are the top 100 players, okay? And you got Lamar Jackson ahead of Russell Wilson or Pat Mahomes. Look, you want to put Lamar in the top 10 or top 20, go ahead. He had the kind of year that he belongs there. He's not the number one player. So I would like to tell the NFL players out there, please don't become general managers. There's a reason why most of you fail miserably, okay, as head coaches or general managers. You're worse than fans sometimes. Some fans at least can be objective. You guys can't. Because objectively, it's Pat Mahomes, and then it's the rest of the league. Okay, I love Russell Wilson. Always been a Russell Wilson fan. But Pat Mahomes is even better than Russell Wilson, dude. And that's saying a lot. Pat Mahomes is one of the sickest talents I've ever seen at that position. When you can throw that way, it's, Marino was, I know that, we kind of get stuck in this thing, but that was the amazing part about Marino. His passing skills were sick. The ball placement that he would have at times where he would whiz it right by the ear of a DB that wasn't looking. Like, that's how quick that guy was. For you youngins that don't know, like Marino could see a guy running a 9 route down the sidelines, right? And the DB's looking back, right? The second the DB looks to check the receiver, whack. So by the time he looks back, the thing is zooming right by his head. Boom, right into Duper's hands. Right into Clayton's hands. Cephalo, not more, whatever. It was this thing that I've never seen. I still to this day haven't seen anybody do it on a consistent basis like he did. There are certain guys that are special passers, and Lamar Jackson's nowhere near that. Okay? And Mahomes is, dude. I know when I see a special passer what they look like, and that dude, it's sick. He's Marino with athleticism. Okay? That's saying a lot, man, because that's why he can run around and, throw, look one way, throw the other, all that kind of stuff. It's Marino with athleticism. When I saw that list, no credibility whatsoever, because there's no argument in my eyes. There's no discussion in my eyes. If you don't have Pat Mahomes number one, your list means nothing whatsoever. And if you got Lamar Jackson ahead of Pat Mahomes and Russell Wilson, then you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So I would tell all the NFL players, you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about if you put Lamar Jackson in front of those two guys. That's all I got to say. 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the text line, 786-322-1105. 1105 if you want to get in on the text line. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. You guys know that I, over the years, have picked on rap music a lot, okay? Because they're like the only ones that are constantly like killing their own, artists. They don't do that in country, and they don't do that in R&B, and they don't do that in rock, and they don't do it in metal. Nowhere, right? And it's only that culture that has it, right? And it's because you don't have, some people that aren't very bright in that genre, apparently. Jack Harlow is one of those. This is the fool that posted a picture of him and Lou Williams on social media. Okay? So now he's rocking a Lou Williams jersey, all right? And he's doing it in honor of Lou Williams and, rocking his support. Meanwhile, he's the reason why Lou Williams got suspended for 10 days. Or 10 games, that is. No, it's actually 10 days. I'm sorry, not 10 games. So he's got a quarantine. But my man, if I'm Lou Williams, and look, I wouldn't know Jack Harlow from a hole in the wall, all right? But if I'm Lou Williams, I don't want this guy sporting my shirt whatsoever. This guy got me in trouble. Now, maybe Lou Williams gets busted anyway in Magic City for going to get the wings because it's Lou Williams. But the fact that this fool goes out and takes a picture with him, and then Jack Harlow's dumbass then says to everybody, oh, no, this is an old picture. This is, by saying this is an old picture, that's the equivalent of telling the teacher your dog ate the homework. Okay? That's the equivalent. It just tells you somehow or another, I don't know what it is about this genre, but it's got people. I remember a story about a year and a half ago. It was two guys. It was a rapper. I forgot the name of the kid. And it was a fan, and they were arguing because Tupac was boring, one guy said. And so the other guy was arguing. The rapper actually was saying Tupac was boring. The other guy wasn't. And one of them then brandished a gun in the argument. I tell you, this genre of music has a way of attracting the knuckleheads. And right there, Jack Harlow, bro. This is the reason why rap has a whole bunch of knuckleheads in today's world. Right there, Jack Harlow. Holy moly. Rocking the Lou Williams shirt. I would want no part of Jack Harlow. If I'm a Clippers fan, I'm banning Jack. I don't even know. Do you know any Jack Harlow music, by the way? Is this guy even any good?
I have absolutely no idea. Just remember, man, they're keeping it real, bro.
Yeah, that's true. They are. They're keeping it real. Yeah. That is good. G says, glad you're feeling most fun player to watch. I like that guy. He's amazing. You have to, Josh. I mean, that guy's a monster. The best player in the NFL. Tannenbaum is worse than Talon, in my opinion, but what's worse than Tom's thorns in fingernails or standing on glass? Well, we didn't have – see, the problem is that Tannenbaum, we didn't have him around here for 10 years. This guy's 10 years, bro. 10 years. And probably 11. So I'm not getting any responses on Jack Harlow. I guess he sucks also. So not only is he a clown rapper, but he's also
a hanger-on, right? That's what he is, right?
I have no idea. Maybe this guy sold 10 million copies on something. I have no idea. I don't know him from a hole in the wall. It's the first time I've ever heard of Jack Harlow was the whole Lou Williams situation. Rapper Jack Harlow, and I'm going, well, okay, well, this is a dumbass rapper right here. Let me tweet out a picture of Lou Williams who's not supposed to be here. And then let me be even more dumb and tell everybody, no, that's an old picture. It's like, come on, bro. How stupid do you think we're as stupid as you are, Jack Harlow? Right? That's exactly what Jack Harlow thinks. Jack Harlow thinks that we're just stupid as he is. You know?
That's the thing that you know that they are, because they always double down on whatever it is. And it's like, you don't get it.
No.
You come on.
Jack Harlow.
You know what? I wouldn't put it past that this guy has sold 10 million.
No.
Because how many times have we seen these stats and it's like, what's number one?
Exactly.
What just broke Elvis Presley's record? What just broke the Beatles' record?
Mindless crap that Migos come out with, and they sell a bunch of music too. At least they used to. Now that they're breaking up, and they'll never do anything again, and they'll never be ever known again. They'll be gone from the world of music soon enough.
You know, the
Here
thing
today,
that is
gone
funny.
tomorrow.
The thing that is
he
funny.
is from Louisville. He has a big following there. That's what Dean G says. All right.
Whenever there's like a bashing or a discrediting of how things are, they always come up.
Who?
The Migos.
Oh, Migos, yeah.
Yeah, they all. There's always hey, here.
It's
Let's.
mindless crap, dude. I mean, it's garbage music, dude. It's garbage. I don't know if I don't even want to use the term music. Just garbage. It's sad. The new rap nowadays, most of it is, 95% of it is absolute trash. There's no talent. And there's the people that are listening to it also, and they bring nothing to the table. So they fall for this crap too, unfortunately. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. If you want to get in, 786-322-1105. When we come back, somebody took a really cool shot. Get that one in. What else do we have here? There is something developing in the NFL that's very Tua-like that I want to get into. What else do we have here? Oh, yes. I got a couple of music notes, too, that I also want to get into, and also a basketball story that I have to question why it continues, and maybe the fans need to react. We'll get into that next.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 on the ground, and truckloads just keep on up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. Let's get into a little double standard, and it's interesting because we have a league that is doing business with some dirty people, and they're not held accountable for it. About the NBA, and the NBA in 2016 they launched the NBA academies. They were first placed in China, right? And so NBA Academies the press release will support existing international basketball academies by exposing elite prospects to NBA-level coaching, facilities, and by providing a global framework for elite-level prospects 360-degree approach to player development with focus on education, leadership, character development, and life skills. Well, Steve Faranu and Mark Faranu-Wada of ESPN, and these guys are investigative reporters, and they're pretty damn good at it. Here's some quotes. One American coach who worked for the NBA in China described the project as a sweat camp for athletes. One former coach described watching a Chinese coach fire a ball into a young player's face at blank range and then kick him in the gut. Imagine if you have a kid who's 13, 14 years old and you've got a grown coach who's 40 years old hitting your kid. The coach said, we're a part of that. The NBA is a part of that. Players lived in cramped dormitories. The rooms were meant for 2 people, but a former coach said bunk beds were used to put as many as 8 to 10 athletes in a room. Players trained 2 or 3 times a day and had few extracurricular activities. NBA coaches and officials became concerned that although education had been announced as a pillar of the academy program, the Sports Bureau did not provide formal schooling. Most of the players who trained at the NBA's academy were Uyghurs, but it was unclear to league employees who spoke with ESPN if any were impacted by the government's crackdown. It's shameful. The NBA espouses American values in the U.S., but not always in China. There's room to respect cultural differences and business partnerships that can be bridged towards mutual understanding, but the NBA never should have tolerated this harsh treatment of kids. It's especially problematic given the NBA's financial interest in condoning Chinese authoritarianism. Now, Rockets GM Daryl Morey tweeted support of the Hong Kong protesters who were trying to maintain and expand their freedoms, and the resulting fallout highlighted the tension, and although the NBA has terminated its relationship with the academy, the issue isn't going away. The NBA is far from the only American company doing business in China. It's become fashionable in some circles to pick on the NBA for its relationship with China, but the NBA is not unique. That said, NBA close ties to these abuses rises to different levels. This is complicity more than tolerance. And this it's funny because as dirty as China is, and they are, and the way they mishandled this pandemic, which has caused the world to lose hundreds of thousands of people now, you would think that, that maybe we need to get wise. Look, I'm not a Trump guy, but I got to tell you, I love the hardline approach he has against China. I do. I don't have to agree with somebody on everything, and it's not going to stop me from giving them credit when I feel they deserve it. Okay? And I know that once Biden gets in there, China will go back to their old thing and take advantage of the guy probably. That's probably what's going to happen. But my point is, this isn't talked about enough about the NBA. And people here aren't holding it against the NBA in their relationship with China. And it was pretty embarrassing that Daryl Morey was actually tweeting something out that is decent. And it was more, there was more humanity involved in his tweet than anything else the NBA then took on after that. Because it's almost like you criticize Daryl Morey because, hey, we're in business with these dirty dudes and we're making millions and millions and millions of dollars. We don't want to ruin it. Even though we're tied to a group of very dirty individuals, we like our money. So we don't care about the mistreatment of human beings in that country. We don't care if people are being treated unfairly. And obviously they didn't have enough influence to run camps in a decent fashion. Can you imagine a 40-year-old man throwing the ball at a face of a 13, 14-year-old kid and then kicking him in the gut? How about if you're the father? What are you doing to that guy? Right?
Shortly thereafter, you're up for murder charges.
Yeah, pretty close to it. Pretty close to it. Either that or I'm calling Joe Kelly to throw at his head. One of the two. But I'm doing something. Hey, will Joe Kelly now get hired as a hitman? Will he get a call? Hey, Joe, I saw you on the mound the other day. Can you take out my wife? She'll be at Neiman Marcus at 2 p.m. in the east entrance. Stand about 50 yards away and fire one, please. I don't know. So maybe we can hire Joe Kelly to be a hitman. Terrible. I saw that story, and it's like, that's an embarrassment for the NBA. I mean, the whole China thing is an embarrassment. How you're just going to sell your soul to be involved with China, and the players too. They all have their deals too. Okay, and considering how people are treated there and what happened with Hong Kong now and all that, man, sad stuff for the NBA. Not a good look, I can tell you that. What do we have here? 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always, because it is a 24-hour talk show. Oral Hershiser. Remember how I told you that the Astros are going to have to live with everything, that they're going to have to live with cheating for the rest of their lives, right? And just like Barry Bonds and just like all these other guys, McGuire, Canseco, they live in that shadow of cheating forever. That's their punishment forever, right? Well, Earl Hershiser, and this is one of those guys that if you watched him play, you don't have to be a Dodger fan. But if you're old enough to watch Earl Hershiser play, he is one of those guys that you admire. Put it that way. Greg Maddux, I don't care what fan. I was never a Braves fan or a Cubs fan. Admire the crap out of Greg Maddux, right? Certain players are just like that. The Ripkins, there are just some guys like that. And Oral Hershiser is that guy that you like tell your son, you see that dude? That's how you play the game. And he's a pitcher, but even in the biggest moment of his life, he even got some hits too. Okay? I mean, Earl Hershiser was one of those guys. If I remember correctly, didn't he steal a base? I want to say
during that World Series, he did just about everything you could do.
Right?
Start, close, middle relief, RBIs, steal base.
I think he stole a base and everything.
It's basically a Gibson hit in Game 1 and Oral Hershiser. It's why they beat the mighty A's. If
you're old enough to watch what Josh Beckett did, just think of Josh Beckett and then add a bat to it. That's what Earl Hershiser did. That he did everything Beckett did pitching, but then he also had some hitting and some base running and RBI and all that. And you're like,
here, what's equivalent? I put it.
It was.
You remember how Pudge, at every minute that he had to make a play in the playoffs. In the World Series, Pudge came through.
Yeah.
That's basically what Oral Hershiser did. Every minute he was on stage, had to come through, the guy came through.
But he's a pitcher. That's different.
Yeah.
Like, wow. It's one of the greatest performances in the history of baseball, in the history of the World Series. Very few people have outperformed Earl Hershiser, okay? So he's a guy you admire. No matter what, you don't have to be a Dodger fan. I think anybody that's a baseball fan admires Earl Hershiser to this day.
Don't forget he was also part of the Cleveland Indians team that played our Marlins in 97.
Yes, but he was an older guy then, and
but still, man.
No, I know.
Playoff is effective, bro.
I know, but still, it's that Dodger performance goes down as one of the all-times. So he's announcing games, and again, he's a guy that has earned that kind of respect, right? So here's Oral Hershiser calling the game yesterday, and you gotta hear there's an Astro at bat.
Strike three call, perhaps guessing something else. 2 out.
Guessing's harder than knowing.
I believe it was Altuve that was at the plate.
That is exactly who it was. Don't take my shirt off. Don't take my shirt off.
And for him to, say, guessing is a lot harder than knowing. That is, right there. That you don't have to call him a cheater. You don't have to do nothing. Just guessing is much harder than. Play it again. Here's Altuve at the plate, and here's Earl Hershiser.
Strike 3 call. Perhaps guessing something else. 2 out.
Guessing's harder than knowing.
And there's an uppercut, and Altuve's down for the count.
Perhaps he was guessing something else. Guessing is harder than knowing. And, and as a pitcher, he should know about that, right? Because that's the game you play with the batter, right? It's guess what's coming. That way,
What are you sitting on? What are you sitting on?
Keep you off balance. So to hear that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of stuff that Altuve will have to live with, and it doesn't matter what uniform he wears. If he doesn't retire an Astro and he has to go on to 2 more places, trust me, he will take that with him. All of the Astros on that team are going to take that cheating shadow with them everywhere they go. And it's not just the guy that's sitting in section 107 screaming at him. It's not the dude at the bar that he's visiting and somebody, hey, give that cheater a drink. No. It's also Earl Hershiser, one of the most respected players in the last 50 years in baseball. And there he is right there. Okay? I think I'm pretty accurate, by the way, of Earl Hershiser being one of the most respected players in the last 50 years of baseball. That guy is right up there, man. So that's one of the greatest performances I have ever seen in my life. And when you got to, that's what you're going to have to deal with. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. There's a situation in in Los Angeles, and it's developing a lot like the Miami Dolphins. And this has to do with Tyrod Taylor. And Tyrod Taylor has Anthony Lynn's complete support. And Lynn is confident in his first-round quarterback, Justin Herbert, like I'm sure the Dolphins are in Tua. But Anthony was asked about week 1 and who starts, and he says, on Tyrod Taylor, he'll probably be our day 1 starter. Lynn told the media on Wednesday via Gilbert Manzano from the OC Register. And why would he be? Because he's the most experienced guy at this point in time. You've had no offseason. So how are you going to put Herbert, who's the 6th overall pick? How are you going to put Tua, the 5th overall pick? And they have a much more established offensive line than the Dolphins, okay? Because the Dolphins don't have an established line. They don't even know who the starting 5 are. Even Jesse Davis, who will be the only one that will come back out of that 5, they don't even know what position exactly he's going to start at. So 80% of your line is going to be completely new, and 100% of it may be playing different positions. You never know. Because they may move around, Jesse. I don't know. That's why I saw this, and it's only common sense what Anthony Lynn is doing. It's only common sense what Brian Flores is doing. The morons that are either, Brian Billick or maybe current players or former players that are just fans, like, as they voted for that top 100 list, or the silly fans that don't really understand the real nuts and bolts about football. You got to have that line straightened out for Miami, and for the Chargers. You've got an experienced option in Tyrod Taylor. Justin Herbert has no experience. He had no offseason. He had no preseason, just like Tua. Do you know what kind of a crime it would be to throw those kids out there at this point in time? It'd be dumb because you'd be setting them up to fail, especially Tua. They have no line. We don't even know if we're going to have a good line or not. It may take a year or two to develop that line. You realize that, right? So you can't throw Tua out there right away and he'll get killed. Justin Herbert, you can't throw him out there right away. He hasn't played in this league. He has to adjust to all of this. It'll take him a while. It's better for him to watch Tyrod Taylor, who has started in this league, played many games, and knows how to prepare. Really smart guy. This is an awesome opportunity for Justin Herbert to watch a real pro, because that's what Tyrod Taylor is. I'm not telling you he's a great quarterback. I'm telling you he's a pro's pro. This is an extremely mature young man. Okay, he was extremely mature coming out of Vautech. I'm a Tyrod Taylor fan. I never looked at him as a starter. I always looked at him as a guy that could be a nice backup for you, and I think that's what he's turned out to be. A guy that can fill in for you, but you don't want him long term. But the good thing about Tyrod Taylor is he's consistent. And he's going to try to stay away from turnovers, which he does a good job of that. Accuracy has always been an issue with him. But he's going to know how to prepare. He's going to know how to read defenses. He's going to know how to teach Justin Herbert how to be a better quarterback and a better prepared quarterback to move on. Just like Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to do the same thing for Tua. Tua's going to be able to watch Fitz prepare, how Fitz reacts to everything, how Fitz is reading everything, and then at the same time, knowing Fitz, he'll be, testing the kid out. What did you see? Did you see this? Did you see that? And maybe he also sits back and says, hey, the kid helped me out here. He saw something I didn't. But that's kind of part of the learning process to all of this. That's why when I saw Anthony Lynn say Tyrod Taylor is going to start, I'm like, there you go. That's exactly how Miami is. And it's the same exact thing. You have two young guys. Oh, and Tua's coming off a hip injury and an operation. So even another reason why he should be a little bit, brought along a little slower than even Herbert. Okay? I mean, he's got more of a line established, a running game that's established, So it's not like he's stepping into a better situation at this point in time. Said all that, Herbert needs to sit down and watch and learn from Tyrod Taylor. Just like our boy Tua. He needs to sit back, relax, learn from a pro like Fitz, and then eventually both should take over and both should be better than the guys they're replacing. But at this point in time, it's better to use those guys as teaching tools, as leadership guys, as mentors. That's the role that Fitz and Taylor can play right now, which, by the way, is priceless to the Chargers and the Dolphins. I love it, man. So I got to tell you, I think it's fantastic. Do want to remind you that our show is proudly brought to you by Toyota of Hollywood. We've been telling you about Toyota of Hollywood now for a while. It's almost going to be a year now, man. I've got my Camry XSE. I love my Camry XSE, folks, and I drive it every day. It's right here in the parking lot and everything. Come on out here, get a great deal on an automobile, folks. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. Whether you're looking, I'm looking at two beautiful Supras here right now in the showroom. They got an excellent selection of Supras, which of course you're not really going to get a selection in most places as it is. And talk about selection, 1,500 cars and trucks. So in these 400,000 square feet where we're at, you're going to have your selection of cars or trucks. And that's what I love. When I picked out my Camry, I had a large selection of Camrys to pick from, like 100. When my mother-in-law got her Corolla, she got a Corolla Sport that's really nice. She got it about 3 years ago, I think, here. Again, she had a plethora of Corollas to pick from, well over 100. That's what you want, man. You want to go to a place where you've got a large selection of automobiles. So make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. Come on down to 1841 North State Road 7. Come on out here, see Herbie Lopez. take care of you at Toyota of Hollywood.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing. Or 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
All right, we're back. Welcome back here at Toyota of Hollywood. We will take you, yes?
Sorry for the extended break. I feel really bad because you know what was playing in the background, though?
What?
Frankenstein.
Oh, really?
And I couldn't throw it up, you know?
Nice. I don't even know what's going on our chat board because the connection has been so bad today. It's frozen up on me, and I have no idea if people are chatting, if they're sending anything. I can't see the video myself, and I'm trying to pick it up, but the wireless it's been terrible, dude. Like, I have no idea, you know. So I'm sorry for those of you out there. I don't even know if you're sending me a question, a super chat, nothing, dude. I can't get on. It's been frozen for a while.
You know what? Let me make a phone call.
You know, but it has been really, really bad today.
I'm seeing that it's been clicking, but it keeps, the volume keeps going. The only thing that's froze up is the video, and it's only for a few seconds, and then it releases again.
Yeah, there we go. I'm using another pad to get on, and there we go. I think I got it now. I think I have it. Yep, I think we got something here. Clee Torres, thank you, chiming in for a super chat. There we go. Life is a gamble, says COVID will never go away. We must learn to live with it and adjust. Hopefully this makes the world a cleaner place for the future of our kids. Let's hope so, but I mean, if people continue to act stupid, that's the problem. Life's a gamble. That's the thing, man. Let's see. Lamar Jackson is the most electrifying player in the NFL. Yes, but that doesn't make him the best. He's not better than Russell, and he's not better than Pat Mahomes. So those guys should be ahead of him. No respect for Pretty Boy either if he retires. He's the best QB. Glad to hear you're feeling good. There we go. Folks are checking in with NorCal. What else do we have here?
Yeah, he jokingly said yesterday that he was doing burpees. That's how good he felt. I'm like, there's no way, man, because I remember after I got my zipper, from my Crohn's surgery, couldn't do nothing for 2 months.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't even pick up 10 or 15 pounds, like nothing.
Yeah. Sergio says, let's be fair, China still takes advantage of Trump. It's just like Trump takes a good game, threatens them with tariffs, then postpones them. He's still making money off of them in the trade more than we ever have. So he's done a lot more. I get it, my brother. You're probably a Democrat, and you don't want to give any Democrat, any Republican credit, but he's done a lot more against China than any of the other presidents. So, and I'm not a Trump guy, but I'm fair, bro. Oh, let's see. GP Trap says, been traveling, watching at night. Nice to see you live again. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you, as always. I don't even know if you're still on because that was at 12-something. I'm trying. I went back a little bit to catch up with some of the comments and questions. I'm just glad I'm able to do it. Let's see. What else do we have here on the questions? There's a lot of stuff between you guys. Miami Kid J, Big O, there's no comparison between Tua and Herbert. I don't think so either as players, but the situation is exactly alike. You don't want to rush either guy. You have an established starter. You get those guys in first and let the young guys learn from them. So their situations are exactly the same. Are they the same quarterback? No, hell no. I'm with you there. That's for sure. But the situation is identical. And it should be treated identical. Okay? So preseason is a wrap. Yeah, there's no preseason games. There'll be none. They're just going to have a training camp and then right into the season. They know that if they have games, they're never going to get to a season. So they want to start the season, hopefully start the season, because I think it's going to be really bad once they start training camp. Let's see. Big O had to evacuate his bowels. No, I didn't. I was on the other side of the building. It's 400,000 square feet. So I was on the other side of the building. So, what am I going to tell you? It's Matthew Walker says, Big O, what was the most intense interview you've given as a member of the media. Oh, man. I did one with Tannenbaum that I asked him all kinds of questions and put him on the spot at the Senior Bowl. It was a one-on-one. I did the one with Al Golden where I put him on the spot because he had, he was a terrible coach, but he had that terrible move of, his linebackers on the 1.5 yard line were standing in the back end of the end zone. And so that was kind of contentious, just a little bit between me and Al Golden.
Can I?
What?
How about what's his name? Alabama.
Oh, Nick Saban. Yes,
I gotta say that's gotta be probably.
Yeah, well, yeah. When you get a coach to call you an asshole, that one. That one's pretty tough. That would go there too. Another one that was uncomfortable, and God, now I'm brain fog. It was told him he got cut by the Dolphins. I broke the story at QAM. I broke the story, and then I broke the story like 20 minutes before I'm about to go into the locker room. And when I go into the locker room, I walk up to the defensive back. Now I'm forgetting his name. He lives here too, man. And I tell him, hey, can you talk a little bit about, getting released? And he looks at me and he goes, what are you talking about? And I go, oh, I'm sorry. Wanstead hasn't talked to you yet? And so Wanstead.
Was this during preseason cuts?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're on the bubble.
Yeah. And so so it was like at the end of the cuts. It was like right to
So
get to
you're
53.
a walking pink slip, basically.
I was the walking pink slip, and I told the player he got cut, and he started crying right there and then. And there was a moment that I wanted to get the story wrong. I'd rather look like an asshole and got the story wrong, and the guy gets pissed at me, but I was right because I knew exactly. It's not my fault that I know a player's getting cut and the head coach allows the media in before he tells the player. That's not my fault. I just did my job when I was a beat guy. And that was tough right there. I'm trying to remember the kid's name now.
Well, you want to shrink and just if you could disappear,
I felt terrible. That was a moment where I felt, brutal, dude. I'm the guy that told the NFL player he got cut. Wow. That was uncomfortable, man. That was uncomfortable. That was a moment where I was like, well, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Please let me be wrong. I'd rather look bad. Poor guy. It's like I'm not supposed to tell him he got cut. It's interesting because a lot of players aren't normally around after they get cut. They usually leave the building. The equipment guy will unload the locker so nobody will see it. And then maybe you get a conference call later from the guy. Maybe you see him a week later on another team and you're able to ask him, or he signs somewhere and you could get, a writer gets him on the phone for a quick interview or something like that. That's possible. But you rarely ever see a guy get cut and he's in the locker room. And I'm brain farting now, and I still cannot remember.
I gotta think the team's thinking this guy might go off, on our let's get him out.
Yeah.
And be a bad situation, this guy breaking down.
Yeah.
It just
he's a good dude.
To prevent any potential
and I'm forgetting
piling on. Makes sense.
I hate the fact that I'm forgetting his name, and he's a really good dude. He's a classy kid. But that was I had a couple of contentious interviews, or not, interview sessions with Jim Leland. Jim Leland wasn't the easiest guy to get along with. So let's see, what else? Are you going to be able to do interviews with any Finns players this training camp? I don't know, my man. I don't know what's going to happen and who we're going to get. We'll try, and we'll see what we when you got up for the last break, I don't know what do you mean by that, Jack? Okay, it has to be a bad wire that is causing your on and off sound. No, that's it could be a bad wire, but I think it's the internet that goes in and out. It might have been. I don't know. Oh, are you, let's see. I remember that Tannenbaum interview. Torres says, did you ask him to turn in his playbook at least? You guys are brutal. Big O, would have loved to see you roast Gase on an interview. Oh, yeah. I definitely. He's lucky I'm not a beat guy during his tenure. The story of the DB being cut sounds agonizing. It is. It's to this day, it still bothers me because the coaches were lazy and irresponsible, and they put me in a terrible position, or any media member. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's bad. That one, you know. Did I ever interview Pat Riley? Hundreds of times. Yeah, man, I covered Pat Riley. So yeah, every day. And I had my run-ins with Pat too, but not the beauty of Pat is the best. He's the best I've ever covered. He's the best at understanding what we do as a business. Now, he's a hard ass. And, you know, when he had to, obviously, if he has to keep something away from you, he can keep it away from you because you've seen it, how they do it in that organization. So that's nothing new. But there were times where, you know, you questioned something he did. But the good thing, see, the one thing there's many things to love about the Heat organization. But the Heat organization, they understand criticism. As long as it's right, as long as you have a point. We might disagree on something, on starting a player, this and that, but if I say, hey, why didn't you start this guy instead of that guy, and he tells you he did it this way or whatever, they don't get mad at you for that because the guy you asked about was a legitimate question, so they don't mind. I bet you none of them mind that I even Riley doesn't mind that I killed him for Whiteside and James Johnson and Tyler Johnson and those guys. You know why? Because deep down inside, Riley knows he's killing himself. He's wrong. So when they get pissed at you, if you're picking on them for something that has no substance, that's the only time they get pissed. But if it's something that they deserve criticism on, they don't. Riley's the first. He might be a little, you know, moved by it, you know, but he's not going to hold it against you. He's not going to be a jerk. None of that, okay? Jimmy could do that to you. Jimmy would be tough on you even though he was wrong. That's the difference. You know what I mean? Riley's a lot like hockey people, except he's much more of a hard ass than the hockey people. But he understand, like hockey people understand the business, and they understand the criticism. Like right now, while I am the only one in the media being critical of Dale Talon, none of them on the other side can tell me anything because I'm not wrong. Because Dale Talon is a severe underachiever. You know what I mean? So it's like there's no way I'm wrong anymore on this. Now, I am the only media member, whether it's print or electronic, that says you need to fire his ass. Now, a lot of those people, that whether they're on the beat or not, maybe they don't want to ruffle feathers or whatever it is. I don't worry about those kind of things. You know what I mean? I'm going to call it like it is, and then deep down inside, you're going to know whether, you know, do I have an agenda or am I right? And more often than not, I hate to say it, but I'm right. And so I have an argument, and they can't tell me anything about it. And that's the good thing. Now, there are people that are combative no matter what. And Jimmy was like that. Jim Leland was like that. I saw Trump like that the other day when he quoted that crazy lady about the alien stuff and all that. A reporter goes, so wait a minute, you are crediting a woman that talks about alien blood and that I forgot what it was, some other crazy line, and Trump was, well, I don't really know her and this and that, and he cut the press conference right there and then. Because once he's wrong, he needs to get the hell out. You know what I mean? So there are people like that, you know? And Leland was like that. He was a guy that was, no matter if he was wrong, oh, no, he's Jimmy too. No matter if he's wrong, no, they're going to defend their point. They're going to stand on their point. It makes no sense, but they'll stand on their point. Why? Because they've got to have it their way. It's got to be their way or the highway, you know, that kind of stuff.
Well,
once you can't be objective.
Oh, once you step in, you got to go clean your shoes, man.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, you do. You know, you do. You gotta. But I love Riley, man. I'm a huge Riley guy, and I'm the first guy that said even if he screwed up with James Johnson and all that, I don't care, bro. I'll let him get through this. Eventually, he'll get through this because there are people. Oh, he lost his fastball. Get rid of him already. This and that. And it's like, come on, dude. You're gonna get rid of a guy that's been great for you for 20 years. So he had a brain fart for a couple of years here with a couple of bad, mediocre players that didn't deserve their salaries. So what, man? It's not the end of the world. We'll get over it, we'll get through it, and then they'll go find some other players. And sure enough, they have. And they're a much better team now. But they know it deep down inside. Super V says, Big O, good afternoon. John Harbaugh was just on ESPN talking about Antonio Brown. I heard him say that he don't know if he's available. Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you, bro. You know, what can I tell you? And with John Harbaugh at this point, he's not going to say anything, that he wants the guy or anything like that. And he isn't available at this point because he has thank you. I appreciate it, my man. He has a whole bunch of pending issues and investigations. So there's no way he knows that he's not available at this point in time. So, I mean, that's all he can say. And it's about the only newsworthy controversy that is available for the Baltimore Ravens right now because they haven't played football, they haven't done anything. So the only thing that you can ask him that might be newsworthy is Antonio Brown. So writers have to get that in. It's not because it means anything. Does Bobrovsky have any trade value now? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. You would have to take a huge loss at this point, and I don't think anybody would want him. Because you're going to ask for something that he's not worthy of at this point, and you have to give up all that salary. That's the thing about Bobrovsky. You almost got to give him away because you have to pay all that salary. So anybody that acquires him would be taking a chance that he's going to get the magic back again, and they're willing to pay that salary. I have a hard time believing anybody is willing to pay that salary. The worst part about the Bobrovsky thing is, and where I feel bad for the owners, because they don't make this decision, that's the front office. But they were probably hoping that only half that contract was bad. That they'd get a good 2-3 years out of him, get a run, maybe win a Stanley Cup, and then the back end of that contract was going to be terrible because he was on the back end of his life as a hockey player. So it was they were expecting it to be a bad contract on the back end. I don't think they expected the entire contract to be bad. And that's what it looks like now. That's the worst part, because that's what it looks like to everybody around the league. Like, okay, he lost it. Now he's lost his juice. He's lost his confidence. This is not the guy you want on your team anymore. That's the worst part about it now. So you're not going to get anything for him in return. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. You can also reach out You can reach out to us too on email, Orlando at BigORadioshow.com. Many ways to reach out to us. On the 30th of July back in 1988, Steve Winwood started a 4-week run at number 1 on the singles charts with Roll With It, Baby. In 2002, speaking of Pat Riley, Bruce Springsteen released his 12th studio album, The Rising. Song that obviously Riley's a big Springsteen guy and he loves that song, The Rising. The other, this is an interesting one. Listen to this. Listen to this, Bill. In 91, to a limousine for making an illegal turn. It turned out the car carried Axl Rose, who threatened to pull out of the night's Guns N' Roses gig if the So Axl gets out of the car. Hey, you give him that ticket. I'm not playing tonight.
So this isn't the first time we've heard about cops having to get him right for a show, right?
No, it's not him. He's in the back of the limo. He's not driving.
No. I'm just saying, cops being involved in the day that the cops had to go to his house.
Yes,
they're opening up for the Stones and grab him.
Yes.
You know what, man? I understand why NorCal feels the way he does about him.
Oh well, no, he's been known as a jerk. He's been known as a jerk. But now when you watch him, you can tell he's changed.
It seems that way, yes.
Dude, you can tell he's changed.
Look, you remember when they were coming out on tour? We said, wherever the first few shows, we got to get it in because
you never know.
After 3 shows, you're going to really go to the 4th one?
Yeah, that's changed now.
With Axl.
Yeah. In 2011, after 20 weeks at the top of the rock charts, the Foo Fighters song Rope was replaced by another one of the Foo Fighters songs, Walk. That's pretty cool. Your one song gets knocked out by another top song. I kind of like that.
It's a good problem to have, man.
Right? Isn't that nice? That's pretty good. Celebrating birthdays today, Buddy Guy was born on this date in 1936, Paul Anka in 1941, and Kate Bush in 1958. There you go. So you got a couple of folks celebrating birthdays today. What else do we have here oh, did you see McDonald's, dude? Locations in the U.S., more than half of them being inside Walmart. Is accelerating some restaurant closures previously planned for future years, and over half of the lower volume restaurants are in Walmart stores. In closing the Walmart locations, McDonald's is continuing what has become years-long pullback in unit count. Executives sought to reverse decline in customer count and same-store sales. So in the years since, the company has shed at least a small number of units every year and has ultimately shrunk its restaurant count by 3.6%. The company now has 13,835 restaurants, down from 14,350. So I did not realize that there was a process where McDonald's is actually shrinking, which to think that McDonald's, you would think that that's one of those businesses that just continues to grow because we love our fast food in this country, dude. You know, we are absolute fast food junkies in this country. So McDonald's is shrinking, the ever-shrinking McDonald's. Big O, did you ever interview the great Zach Thomas? Many times, had him on the show many times. Zach is a good dude, man. One of the best people you will ever have to cover as a reporter. So yes, many times. NorCal just threw out an FU Axl. There you go. The Demons are taking all the audio today. Okay. I guess, has it been that bad? Like, explain to me. Has it been cutting out all the time now? Is it throughout the entire show? Or what's the deal? Because then, Jack, you might be right. It might be a cable. Because it doesn't make sense if the video is rolling and there's no audio, then that is a problem. You're right about that. So you could be correcto mundo on that. I bet it's the mic cable coming from the board. Wiggle it. Wiggle it. Jiggle it and wiggle it. Wiggle the mic cable. There we go. He's jiggling and wiggling. And I don't hear anything going out in my ears, at least. I don't know if it went out in the sound.
Nah, I was looking at the meters. It's popping.
Okay.
And no influx on the,
Yeah. Hey, I have two nut job coworkers that think we're having college football this season. They don't believe in the coronavirus. That's why I call them nut jobs. Yeah, well, I mean, you have your people that don't believe there's a virus. And, you have people like Michael Porter that think it's out there to control our population or something crazy like that. I mean, what are you going to do, my brother? That's you can't change some people and their crazy thinking. Meanwhile, there's tons of people dying every day now, and if you're in denial at this point, I can't help you. I mean, yesterday was over 1,400 deaths, man, and you know that we're like at 253 today. It's even higher. I don't know if you guys know that, right?
You're talking about for us in Florida, right?
Yeah, just Florida alone. Okay, where it's got the number gets higher every day now. Every day, not just our country. I mean, Texas had 313 dead yesterday, dude. We're at 252, 9,956 cases, and 252 are already dead. Arizona has 172 out of 2,500 cases.
You know what? There's one thing they've been spot on, from the beginning.
What?
When they talked about whatever is happening, what you're seeing right now, the inertia is going to continue and the effects are going to be seen in 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
That has been true.
Yeah.
That one thing they got right.
Yeah. Because that's what happened the first time around. There's infection, then hospitalization, then deaths. And that's how it's gone for us. Infections, because we got all the people protesting or going out in other places without the mask. And then we got the hospitalizations. Now you see the hospitals are packing in, and it's funny because some people are like, "Well, this hospital hasn't reached its max." Well, it hasn't, because it's now taking other parts of wings and making them more COVID beds. So that's why they tell you that they still have space, because they're creating more and more space in different hospitals. That's why. What they thought was going to be the COVID wing, well, that one's stuffed already. Now they've got to start another part where they add more COVID patients. That's what's going on. That's the real problem with all of it. Okay? Let's see. It's totally random, but seems like audio only. On and off throughout the show. Just the sound. The video is fine. The audio cuts out for a few seconds, then comes back. What is your most memorable sports moment? Mine would be meeting defensive tackle Eric Williams after Washington Raiders game in '92. Well, I've met tons of players. That's not, I've met Michael Jordan. So what the hell? I mean, that's watching Alonzo Mourning hug that trophy, and Udonis Haslem, and then obviously D Wade led the way. But what I mean is he's all Miami, and for him to achieve that was awesome, and to watch it and to be there in the locker room with them, and then Zoe fighting back from the kidney, and the heart of a lion that sumbitch had. It's something that you admire about Alonzo Mourning. His fight was like no other. Zoe's one of those players. and he was kind of moody at times and all of that. But as a fan, dude, Alonzo Mourning, I loved and admired because every night he took the court, whether he was a Georgetown Hoya, whether he was a Hornet, or whether he was a Heat player, you knew he left everything out on that court that night. That was one of those guys, just like Jordan, just like Magic Johnson, just like Bird. There was no 90%. There was no 85%. No. It was always 100% effort of anything they were doing. And that's why Zoe is one of those guys that I admire immensely. And, you know, being a part of the 97 championship for the Marlins was a lot of fun because it was the first one. And it was fun to see Wayne also, who brought the team and spent all that money and everything. And I know he was breaking them up and everything, but still, it was part of him building that, you know, and achieving that. And that was cool. But the 06 Heat, for me, was the most special thing out there as a media member / fan because of personally watching everything that Zoe went through and everything that Riley had gone through. Remember, leading up to that championship in 06, Riley had Tim Hardaway break down with his Achilles multiple times, Zoe go down with the kidney ailment. I mean, he signs Dan Marley, and Dan Marley blows out his back. There were so many things. I know it ended up becoming a blessing in disguise, but he signs Juwan Howard. They reversed that deal. I don't think people realize all the things, the Allen Houston, you know, bouncing around the rim and going in. I don't think people realize all the things that happened to the Heat before that 06 title. You know what I mean?
Mashburn hitting the paint and passing to Zoe at a three-point line.
No, Witherspoon.
Was it Witherspoon?
Yeah, it was Witherspoon. Yeah, I know, because I was doing the shows and we killed him for that, for passing it to Spoon. And so all of those things that the Heat went through, and that night in 06, watching Riley win that championship, and it had to have been maybe one of his most special moments because he created that team. This is his franchise. I know it's Mickey's, but you know what I mean? He's in charge. He wasn't totally in charge in New York, and he was never in charge in L.A. Jerry West was always in charge. So to watch Riley get over the hump, to watch Zoe get that championship and everything he went through with the kidney, to watch UD, a Miami guy, from beginning to end and win that championship, and what he did with Dirk Nowitzki in that series, too. He played pretty good defense. All of those things, I got to go 06. 06 was special, man. Probably my favorite moment as a media member. You know what I mean? Because obviously as a fan, you know, I could go to maybe 83 for the Canes. That was pretty special, man. That was a lot of fun, breaking the ice and beating Nebraska and then the parade and all of that. But I got to go 06, man. 06 because of everything that led up to that to win that whole thing. Matthew Walker says, it did it again. Audio is bugging.
Well, I'm looking at the video, and the video's freezing up on the stream on the tablet.
Yeah, he says, no, the audio cuts out every few seconds, but in the last 15 minutes. Fine now. I'm so sorry, man. I'm going to get a Zoe Hornets haircut, high top fade like Kid and Play. Big O has a sports moment ever made you cry, emotional. I break down like a baby if the Dolphins, well, I would if the Dolphins win a Super Bowl, I probably would. Crying? I don't think so. I don't think I've gotten to the point where I've cried. It would have been 06. It would have been watching Zoe, man. Because that emotion from Zoe was as captivating a moment as I can ever remember in my life. No, I don't think I have a moment where I've cried. But I got to tell you, if the Dolphins win it after all these years and all this suffering, that would probably put me in that moment. I could see that. And I will tell you this, as I get older, man, I cry a lot easier now. movies and stuff. Oh man, wow! It is that is the worst thing about getting old. You get more emotional. Well, I guess when you have a kid too, that also kind of puts up another roadblock in your emotional grip. But I would say that it hasn't happened to me yet in sports. Not yet.
86, Canes loss. 2002, Canes loss. Yeah, to want to cry. Yeah.
I wanted to cry, but I didn't cry. No.
Wanted to. Yeah,
I was more pissed than anything else. Not about, especially 86, because to me that was the greatest team ever. Was the one that lost the Fiesta Bowl. That to me was the greatest team ever. I know that, a lot of people say 2001, but for me, the Fiesta Bowl losing team to Penn State, to me that was the greatest team ever. But whatever, that's just me. What can I tell you? But yeah, no, I don't have any moments where I cried for a local team for a reason or another. But I would think that maybe if the Dolphins do win it now and, I'll be, 54, 55, 56 down the line when that happens, get even more emotional. So, yeah, I could see it happening. Which journalist from non-player has the best technical knowledge of the NFL? Which journalist, non-player, has the best technical knowledge of the NFL? It's a good one. It's a really good question, actually. It's a fantastic question. Who do I go? It's not an ex-coach, not an ex-player. Breaking down the game. Wow. That's you got me on that one. Trying to think of who that is. That could be. That's non-player, non-coach. I do like what's it called? Cosell's brother. He does a pretty good job, and he's not a player or a coach. I'm forgetting his first name now. Greg Cosell. I think Greg Cosell does a nice job overall. Non-player, non-coach. Let's see. Big O, I cried for Don Shula's retirement press conference. Okay. You know what? I think about the Marino one, but I was doing the broadcast, so I didn't have time to get emotional that way. But I'm going to go Greg Cosell. That might be one of my favorite guys that breaks down film and talent that isn't a former player or a former coach. Okay? I'll go Greg Cosell. Hank Goldberg, Jack says. There we go. Oops, I did not hear her say. I don't know what that means. Dennis Miller, LOL. Yes, Dennis was fantastic. Dennis always used to confuse me because he'd have jokes that I had no understanding of because I was way too dumb for his jokes. Oh, did you cry when Iron Man took down Thanos and sacrificed himself to save the universe? Yes, I did. Definitely. Pat in Nashville. Sorry, local journalists. Cleators is coming in with a Henry Barrow. Holy crap. There you go. That's a blast from the past. I cried when UF lost in the SEC title game to Alabama like Tebow. I tell you what, I almost cried when UM lost to Alabama and George Teague is stealing the ball from Lamar. But I almost cried because I drove all the way to New Orleans for that. That's why I almost cried. Because I drove all the way to New Orleans for it. And then I had to drive back. So, no, that was it. Yes, you are cutting in and out. Not bad, but every once in a while. All right. So, I don't know what the hell is going on. So, something's going on. Something. I don't know what it is. It's not, I don't hear it in my ears. So, that's the problem. You would hear it break up here. If it was a cable, it would break up in my ears. and then they would go out.
I'm watching it here. It's the feed.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be the
ether.
internet. It's got to be the internet because it would have gone out in my ears.
Everything is strictly right here.
Yeah, if it's a cable or something, it goes out in my ears. So it's probably not a great internet connection today, not a smooth one. That's probably what it is. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? We are going to wrap it up here on the show. We thank, of course, Steve Ostrov, all the great people out here at Toyota of Hollywood getting it done. We always appreciate them. When you come out here to 1841 North State Road 7, make sure you tell them that we sent you. Please come on out here, and whether you're buying or leasing a vehicle, they will definitely take care of you. Tomorrow, we'll be at a sister dealership. We'll be at Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines. We'll be out there 15601 Pines Boulevard tomorrow starting off at 11 a.m. We appreciate all of you out there that tuned in, called in, or text in, listened, watched, however it is you do it. Our super chatters, Kenneth in Cleveland, Life is a Gamble, Clee Torres, thank you guys, as always, for super chatting. We always appreciate it.
What's going on in there?
Super chat.
Excuse me a sec. What are you babbling about?
Super chat.
If he
super chat.
We'll all
super chat.
It'll be anarchy. It's out of my hands.
It's a beautiful thing. Love it. All right. I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ray Grulon, by the way, chimes in right at the end with a super chat. Thank you, Ray.
All right, here they come. They're going to keep you here.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Ray. Big O, I got tears on Marino's last game in Jacksonville. It was a bad loss, but he did not deserve to end like that. Dude, I was at that game. You know, I was a beat guy in those days, and I covered that game, and I drove up to that game. Cheap-ass QAM wouldn't pay for me to go there, but I chose to drive up there myself. I said, get me the credential. I'll drive up to cover the game and then drive back. And so I went up and covered the game and came back. I felt like crying, but I was too pissed at Jimmy. That's all. I was so pissed at Jimmy in those days because he did everything in his power to hurt Marino and hurt himself and the team in the process. He did not help himself or the team, but he thought he was the smartest guy in the room. And then in that press conference, Jimmy had a quick 45-second statement and then walked away with a tail in his legs, didn't answer any questions. It was as cowardly a move I've ever seen from any head coach ever in the history of sports. Jimmy Johnson owns the most cowardly move ever by a head coach in South Florida history. 62-7, and he didn't have the balls to stand there and take the questions of something, a mess he created. Okay? And that pissed me off because Marino took every question. He even got pissed at Deuces Rogers. Anybody remember Deuces Rogers? Deuces had, he had an awkward question. I forgot what it was. And Marino snapped at him because Marino was pissed at that moment. He was 62-7. That's the way he's going out, and he's not happy about that. And I know that Deuces had, I forgot what was the question. And I felt bad for Deuces because Marino ripped him. But Marino answered all the questions like he normally does. He was a man. And even though it wasn't his fault, and I know that he had the injuries and all that stuff going on, but I got to tell you that I wanted to cry, but I was so pissed that I couldn't cry. Okay? Julius 305, thank you, my man, sending in a super chat here in the final moments. Ray says, I still hold a grudge with Jimmy on that. Yeah, I will too. I always will, because what he did to Marino those last few years was just uncalled for, dude. Uncalled for. You know what it reminds me of? Ditka Walter Payton. Ditka never ended up forgiving himself for giving Fridge the ball and scoring that touchdown when he should have given it to Walter. You know, after all those years and all those crappy teams and having to play with Vince Evans and Bob Avellini, and finally he's got this great team, and you're in the Super Bowl, and, you know, the greatest player or one of the greatest players in the history of that franchise and the most important player in that franchise at that moment was Walter Payton. And you had to give him the ball, and you didn't. And to this day, Ditka regrets that he made the wrong decision. I don't know if Jimmy has any regrets on how he mishandled Marino's career. At least I give Ditka credit that he admitted, I was wrong. I screwed up. I had to give Walter the ball there at that moment and not go with the gimmick that we created. Because it was a gimmick. Now, it was an effective gimmick because the dude's 300 pounds. How are you going to stop him on a 1-yard line? It's impossible. It's just impossible to stop that. But then again, you're not going to stop Walter either at the 1-yard line. So give it to Walter. And at least I give him credit for that. I've never heard Jimmy give me a mea culpa and say, you know, I truly mishandled the 4 years I was with Miami. I could have done a lot better with with Dan Marino, and I didn't. Never heard him. I've never heard him take responsibility for that. I don't know if he ever will. Like I told you, right? That when certain guys that I've covered, even if they were wrong, they were going to fight you to the end with it. Didn't I tell you that Jimmy Johnson was one of them? Okay, I'm pretty consistent. Dougie Fresh chiming in with a super chat after yesterday's. I mean, Dougie Fresh, you got us the Devo helmet, which, by the way, it's already in the studio, set up. I organized it yesterday. Stanley C. Panther is wearing the Devo helmet.
That's got to look awesome.
Yeah.
What did you do with the striker court jester?
I had to stuff it somewhere. It's still there.
Okay.
You can see it.
Right.
You know, but it's it's there.
It probably looks awesome on Stanley C., I would guess.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're going to love it. It's actually cool. So after that and my Devo shirt, which I'm going to wash here in the next couple days, I'll probably wear it sometime next week. He says, if you and Bill had a rock band, who would be your choice for lead singer out of the following? Carl Lewis, Tiny Tim, or Tiny Tim, or the Bear at Chuck E. Cheese? Can I pick the bear at that used to be at Disney World at the food court? I don't know if you guys ever saw that guy. My daughter used to love that. We had to go every time we went to Disney. We had to stop there. I forgot what his name is.
I thought you were going to say the Bears Jamboree.
No. The one that jammed by himself in the by Tomorrowland, and right across from the racing cars, the speedway thing.
Okay, so it's by the cars, right outside of Wings of Man back in the day.
Yeah. Diagonally from the spinning saucers.
Up to the teacups.
Yes, the teacups. Right there.
So then it's closer to the castle.
I forgot the name of that damn character.
Because it's like you go from...
you have to cross the bridge into Tomorrowland, and then it's on your right side, is what it is. That's where it is. That's where the food court is. That's where it is.
Okay.
It's in Tomorrowland. It's directly in front of the cars.
But, I mean, you could go, like, from Cinderella's castle around and go the teacups, boom, and then they have the little picture area.
Right. Well, when you pass the teacups, you have to cross a little street, and the right you go towards the thing.
It's the food.
But it's right across the street from it, right? Because there's juices on that side.
Right where the food thing is, on the back end is Wings of Man.
Right.
That's where Wings of Man is, and then there's the opening. Of course, we all know Space Mountain is to your left.
Exactly. So Dougie Fresh, I'm gonna go with
the bear.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the bear from Chuck E. Cheese. Probably has more, deeper voice. I can't go with Carl Lewis. There's no way. I'm going to go with Tiny Tim before I go Carl Lewis, but I'm going to go with the bear from Chuck E. Cheese.
Right. It's the bear, Tiny Tim, then Carl Lewis.
Yeah.
At least Tiny Tim brings the ukulele, man.
And King Short gives us a lot of info. He goes, gonna try not to Probably won't be here tomorrow. Got to work. That's good, bro. I'm glad you're working. So that's awesome. That is fantastic. Kenneth in Cleveland chimes in with a second super chat. Thank you, Kenneth Cleveland. Appreciate you, man.
Look. This segment is 57 minutes. Let's just go for another 2 or 3 and make it a full 60.
Miami,
with me?
Miami Kid J goes, Big O, I cried when the Orange Bowl got torn down. Okay. All right. That's, hey, listen, a lot of us had great memories at that place, man.
The greatest home field advantage.
Games.
Any sport. Oh.
Games and concerts. Okay. Because that's, for me, it's 2 things at that Orange Bowl I've had a lot of fun with. Obviously, well, 3 if you want to call Dolphins and Canes separate, but football games and concerts at the Orange Bowl, forget it, dude.
Wasn't one of the prior Arguellos?
Yes,
was that the bottle?
Yes,
that
the bottle.
Was the bottle
yeah,
fight.
yeah. Give me the water. No, not that one.
No,
the one that's
special
mixed.
one. The special one.
The one that's mixed. Don Parlamento chimes in on a super chat. You guys remember?
And you thought you were going somewhere.
These guys just want me to stay here, man. You guys are just keeping me here. Oh, man, I appreciate that. But, yeah, there's no doubt. You think, when we lost the Strikers, I was disappointed. We were striking out on Commercial Boulevard, and we were hoping that, they'd pick the team back up again, and it didn't happen. So there have been those moments, man. The Orange Bowl gets torn down. We lose our soccer team. I've had some of those moments myself, but I haven't gotten to the point where I'm crying. But I think one of you nailed it. If the Dolphins win the Super Bowl, that might be the one that puts me over the top. But it'll be a fun cry because hopefully I'll be hugging a whole bunch of you guys out there while we're doing it. And hopefully we can hug.
You'll be like the Ronco Slicer Dicer. The only tears will be tears of joy.
So if we still have a pandemic going on, would you go to a Super Bowl because the Dolphins are there? I might do that. I might not go anywhere, but I would go to a Super Bowl if the Dolphins are there with or without COVID. Yeah, I don't know. I might pass up all the other ones, okay? Panthers in the Stanley Cup, Marlins in the World Series, Canes in a national championship game, Heat in the NBA Finals. But I got to tell you that if the Dolphins are in a Super Bowl in the middle of a pandemic, I am going, bro. I'll just buy the best mask possible that you.
You'll buy a full Kevlar army.
Yes. I'll buy something that guarantees I will not get sick. Okay, something that has my own oxygen. All right, I'll do whatever it takes, but I am going to be wherever the Dolphins are to play a Super Bowl.
Big O's going to get the suit that Michael J. Fox wore, the hazmat suit when he jumps in.
I would never miss that. And it would be the most emotional I've ever been because obviously the Dolphins mean more to me than anything out there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Although I got to say I'm looking forward to Inter being in the MLS Cup. That also would be awesome. But the Dolphins, there's nothing like the Dolphins. Kenneth in Cleveland, dude, you're out of control. A third one. Holy moly. Thank you, brother. That is too much. That's been achieved a couple of times now where people have sent in 3 super chats. That is
61 minutes. The objective's been achieved.
Yes. You all are crazy out there. Jimmy Johnson on Yatil Green over Randy Moss. How about that? No. Remember what I told you about Jimmy Johnson, right? So we ask him about Randy Moss, right? He goes, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If we had the 19th pick overall, we would have taken Vonnie Holiday. And we're looking at him like, dude, you had the out. You would have just say you would have taken Moss and we'd have shut up. So you're going to take Vottie, who turned into a really good player. Would have been a really good pick overall. Not better than Randy Moss, but would have been a good pick. And then he also then follows up because he drafted Larry Shannon that year, a wide receiver in the 3rd round. So Jimmy Johnson doubles up. Not only does he tell you, I wouldn't have taken Randy Moss, I would have taken Vonnie Holiday at number 19. He then tells us Larry Shannon will be as good as Randy Moss. That's Jimmy Johnson, bro. That even if he's dead wrong, in the middle of being dead wrong, the guy finds a way to bury himself even more in the BS. Do you know the balls it takes to stand there and tell people Larry Shannon will be as good as Randy Moss? We were all looking at each other like, did he just say that? What?
He does realize that we are recording this. This is going to be used against him forever, right?
You know, it's like, so those are examples. Like when I tell you something, it's because, man, I don't BS, bro. I'm telling you what it is. You know, and that's that dude. That's the dude that no matter if he's dead wrong, forget it, bro. He's going to live the lie. I mean, Jimmy must have, when he forgot his homework and he told the teacher that the dog ate it, and then she says, you're lying, he must have followed up with some incredible arguments after that. You know, it must have been entertaining. Kenneth in Cleveland, by the way, says, Big O, don't go. Yes, Randy Moss, and we missed on Drew Brees twice. Yeah, but I'm not going to blame Jimmy Johnson for that. That's not Jimmy Johnson. Okay, that's Dave Wannstedt that he took Jamar Fletcher over Drew, and then Saban. The doctors told him no, take Culpepper over Brees. That's all. So, you know, what are you going to do? I remember the promotional spots, Jimmy saying in a deep voice, we have a chance to be special. Yeah, I remember that. The problem with Jimmy Johnson is that he had a chip on his shoulders with Jerry Jones. He didn't take the job in Miami because he wanted to be there. Hey, man, whatever it was, it's just crazy. You know, didn't work out for us, unfortunately. Big O, Jimmy also drafted John Avery, right? Yes, no, that was the pick. It was, if I remember correctly, they were at 19. He traded down to 21 and then traded down to 27. I think that's how it went, if I'm correct. And at 27, he took John Avery. Okay? John Avery was the guy that had to have 8 different flavors of Kool-Aid in his locker room because he couldn't stay up for meetings. So he would come in with this glass full of water. It's this size. Okay? It's like one of those super big gulps, but it wasn't a super big gulp cup, but it was a cup the size of a super big gulp, right? And then he'd pick a different flavor. He'd mix it right there in the locker room, right in front of us. And we go, what's this for? He goes, man, if I don't drink this, I'll fall asleep and Jimmy will kill me. And we would laugh. Because John Avery was like a funny dude. He was a cool dude. You know, he was never really dedicated to football. You get to that level, and even though the good Lord above gave you the ability to play at the level, you still have to have the professionalism and the dedication in order to be good. You understand? You have to be superstar quality to like not study that much and get by and be able to, because you're so freaking talented. You know, you're like a superstar guy. You know, there are some of those guys who are superstars and they don't have to do that much studying and all that because they're just special. But most guys in the pros at every sport, they got to work hard at it. And they got to mentally know everything that they've got to do and physically prepare and all of that. John Avery was never going to do that. Never. So, yes, John Avery was the pick the year they traded down from 19. I believe it was 2 trades. Not exactly sure. I may be wrong. Maybe it was 19 to 27 and that's it, and they took him. But I think he did it twice. I think he moved down to 21 and then he moved down to 27. I think. I'm not sure. I have to go check it out and look it up, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm mixing it up with something else. But I want to say it was like 27, the number that John Avery was picked. In fact, let's have some fun. Let me see if years later I nailed when John Avery was picked in the first round. How about that? Let's see if we could do that. What do you think? What are the chances right now? Those of you that are on the chat board, what are the chances that I nailed the right year that he was the right number in the draft that he was picked? What do you think? What are the chances?
Your draftnickness, I would guess that you're correct.
Okay, let's see. 29th. I was wrong.
Not by what?
2 picks, but I was wrong. 29, not 27.
The most minuscule amount. Like, how many years ago was that? 20 blah, blah, blah?
It was 1998. 22 years ago.
There you go.
22 years ago. So there you go. Picked 29th overall. So, yeah. How about that? What do we have here? The problem with Jimmy Johnson is that he had a chip on his shoulders. Yes, you're right. Jimmy never admit it. You're not guilty. CEO, got to go. So, Parlamental, thank you very much. We getting old, Big O. Yes, we are, Julius. Yes, we are. And we got to go, too. So, we are out of here. We will see you guys tomorrow. We'll be at Acura. As always, thank you all out there. Make sure you visit our friends out here at Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you on behalf of Bill and Philippe. Always doing great work. We thank all of our folks watching, listening, downloading, super chatting, tweeting, emailing, and, of course, visiting our sponsors. However it is you support us, we love you. See you tomorrow, same time, same place, same bat channel. Be good.
Stay safe.